entered on the very auspicious day, and you got gift of Bhagavad Gita. So your life will change from now on. That's the caution. చేద్దాం 9:30కి ఉంది 9:30కి చేద్దాం ఉంది ఒక చాప్టర్ కొన్ని 1 minute సమ్మరీ. హరే కృష్ణ. వస్తున్నారా మీరు? ఓకే సరే అయితే. యా 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 ఓకే రండి మీరు రండి. యా ఓకే. Technical difficulties as usual. Technology doesn't never works when it is needed. Okay. Oh, okay. So what's your name? Sorry? Richa. Okay. And your husband is here? You. What's your name? Manish. Okay. Welcome to ISKCON Seattle. So are you new to Seattle or did you just move here? Just moved from India. Oh, okay. Welcome. Welcome. So you're also going to get a gift of Bhagavad Gita. Ashok, can you please get 2 more Bhagavad Gitas? Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, yeah. Just couple of minutes. Yeah. Yeah, even though everyone has Bhagavad Gita, but they need to know, where to refer to, right? Some people may not know. That's why it's better to display on the screen. Actually, same family, right? That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll get started while they're setting up the projector. But most of you have Bhagavad Gita's in your hand, so you can reference. I'll tell the page number, which page to refer to. Um, yeah. Okay. So welcome everyone to the Gita Jayanti Mahotsav. Today is the most auspicious day. It's Mokshada Ekadashi and Gita Jayanti. So, in fact, every day is an auspicious day, not just Ekadashi day or when there is a festival, only when we can say it's an auspicious day. Every day is an auspicious day, provided you read some Krishna Katha or you hear some Krishna Katha on that day. So, when Narada Muni was asked, how do we decide which day is a good day or which day is a bad day? Narada Muni said, Taddinam Durdinam Manye Megachanyam Durdinam Yaddinam Krishna Samlapa Katha Piyusha Varjitam. Narada Muni said, that day when no Krishna Katha is heard or read, that day is a bad day. And that day when Krishna Katha is heard or read, that day is a good day. So in that perspective, every day is a good day when you read or hear Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha means Katha spoken by Krishna or Katha spoken by Acharyas about Krishna. So on this auspicious day, on this auspicious day of Gita Jayanti Mahotsav, we're going to do the Sampurna Bhagavad Gita Parayanam, recitation of complete Bhagavad Gita for the people who are new to Bhagavad Gita or for the people who are visiting this temple for the first time. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters and 700 slokas. We're going to recite all the 700 slokas in about 2.5 to 3 hours. And very shortly we're going to set up fire sacrifice, Gita Mahayajna. Everybody will get an opportunity to participate in the Gita Mahayajna. So it's going to be a wonderful festival. Time will unfold everything. Okay, so we're going to recite 700 slokas, patiently sitting here for about 2.5 to 3 hours. But what are we going to get? Right, Ashok? Is that a valid question? Right? What are we going to get? What's the benefit? Before we do anything, we ask, right? What am I getting out of it? What's the benefit? So when you hear any scripture, any shastra, there is something called as Falashruti, the benefit of hearing the shastra. So before we start reciting the shlokas, we're going to talk a little bit about the Falashruti, the benefits of hearing Bhagavad Gita. So let's first hear what Sanjaya has to say from Bhagavad Gita, what Sanjaya has to say. There are some shlokas in Bhagavad Gita spoken by Sanjaya, some shlokas spoken by Arjuna, one shloka spoken by Dhritarashtra, and 574 shlokas spoken by Krishna. 574 shlokas. So in chapter 18, after hearing entire Bhagavad Gita conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, Sanjaya says, Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanaha Samvadam imam ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. You want me to tell the page number? This is 18.74, chapter 18:74. So you can refer to your books. I don't have the page number. Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. The next verse. Vyasa prasadat shrutavan etat guhyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat katayata swayam. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. 18.76. Rajan samsmrutya samsmrustya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjunayo punyam hrishyami cha muhuhu. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Next verse, 77. Tacha samshrutya rupam atyadbhutam hare Vishmayo me mahan rajan hrishyami cha punaha. O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Now the last verse of this chapter and the last verse of Gita, 18.78. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mama. Let's all repeat this verse. You can all look at the book and repeat this verse along with me. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mama. 3 times. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mama. Yatra yogeshwara krishno yatra partho dhanurdaraha tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mama. Radhika Leela Mataji, you want to read the translation?
Yes, bro. Wherever there is a Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjun, the supreme archer, there will be also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
So Sanjaya is saying, after hearing entire Bhagavad Gita, he's saying wherever there is Krishna and wherever there is Arjuna, there is opulence, victory, morality. So wherever there is Bhagavad Gita, wherever Bhagavad Gita is spoken, there is Krishna and there is Arjuna. That means wherever Bhagavad Gita is read or heard or Bhagavad Gita is kept, there is Krishna and Arjuna, and it is guaranteed there is victory, opulence, and morality. That is what Sanjaya is declaring. So in these last 5 verses of Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya is declaring, or he is giving a testimonial of his experience of hearing Bhagavad Gita, conversation between Arjuna and Krishna. So he's saying his hair is standing on end after hearing this wonderful conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And he's stuck with wonder by seeing the beautiful form of Krishna, and he wants to see that again and again. So that's his experience. So I promise you will all have the same experience at the end of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, especially when you are hearing or reading 11th chapter, you can check your hands. You will have hair standing on ends. Adbhutam Roma Harshanam. That's what Sanjaya says, and you will experience that. So whenever you do something, 2 things happen, right? One thing that is happening externally and one thing that's happening internally. So what Sanjaya described and the Adbhutam Roma Harshanam, the hair standing on end, that's a external experience. And you will all experience that. It's guaranteed. Provided conditions apply, right, for everything. So what's the condition here? You all sit through the entire 18 chapters for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. It's easily doable, right? How many of you are willing to do this? Oh, wow. Almost everyone, except I know Narendra said you have to go, right? Yeah, okay. So we are doing the same thing tomorrow also. So you can plan that way. And okay, so now we know what happens externally. Okay, the Adbhutam Roma Harshanam. Okay, watch out your hairs standing on end as we read through the shlokas. Now let's see what happens internally. And that is from Gita Mahatmya. Gita Mahatmya is a section from Padma Purana where Lord Shiva describes the glories of Bhagavad Gita to Parvati Devi. Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava. He is the greatest devotee of Sri Krishna. So he is glorifying Bhagavad Gita to Parvati Devi. Okay, let me tell you the page number in this book because it's not projected on the screen, right? So you can follow what we are reading. Yeah, the page introduction. So you all can refer to the introduction. Page number 28. If you have a book like this, the yellow color Bhagavad Gita, the hardbound Bhagavad Gita, not the smaller one, but the hardbound, this size Bhagavad Gita, page number 28. Yeah. No. 11th chapter will be around. So you are ready for the Adbhutam Roma Harshanam already. You want to experience that hair standing on end, right? You can't wait to experience that. But you have to wait until 8 o'clock at least. Okay? Now this is page number 28, Gita Mahatmya, the glories of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. Gita Shastram idam punyam ya patet prayata puman. If one properly follows the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, one can be freed from all the miseries and anxieties of life. Bhaya shokadi varjitaha. One will be freed from all fears in this life, and one's next life will be spiritual. That is Gita Mahatmya number 1. There is also further advantage. Gita dhyanasya silasya pranayama parasya cha naiva shanti papani purva janma kritani cha. If one reads Bhagavad Gita very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. Gita Mahatmya number 2. The Lord says very loudly in the last portion of Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaisyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Thus the Lord takes all responsibility for one who surrenders unto him, and he indemnifies such a person against all reactions of sins. Malanirmochanam pumsam janasnanam dine dine sakrut gitamrita snanam samsara malanashanam. One may cleanse himself daily by taking bath in water. But if one takes bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is vanquished. Gita Mahatmya number 3. Gitasu Gita Kartavya Kimanyai Shastra Vistarai Yasvayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmat Vinishruta. Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Gita Mahatmya number 4. So these are the most precious words. Among every literature that you can find in this world, the words spoken by the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna are the most precious. The 700 slokas, among that 574 slokas spoken by Krishna are the most precious ones. That's what Gita Mahatmya 4 is declaring. Bharatamrita sarvasvam Vishnu Vaktrat Vinishrutam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate. One who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of the Mahabharata, and it is spoken by Lord Krishna himself, the original Vishnu. Gita Mahatmya 5. Bhagavad Gita comes from the mouth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Ganges is said to emanate from the lotus feet of the Lord. Of course, there is no difference between the mouth and the feet of the Supreme Lord. But from an impartial study, we can appreciate that Bhagavad Gita is even more important than the water of the Ganges. Now it is practically not possible for all of us to go to river Ganga and take bath in that. But you get more benefit than that by reading Bhagavad Gita, which you can do every day, every single day. A person who is on the deathbed also can hear and read Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that's the most beautiful thing. Now Shankaracharya, he is declaring Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandan Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Mahat. This Gitopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads, is just like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf, and learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. Gita Mahatmya 6. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Yeko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karma Pyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. In this present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, and one occupation. Therefore, Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam. Let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna. Eko Mantras Tasya Namani. And one hymn, one mantra, one prayer. The chanting of his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And let there be one work only, the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so this Gita Mahatmya glorification here, it confirms that there is only one God, one religion, and one scripture. Bhagavad Gita, as it is mentioned in this Gita Mahatmya, the last glorification here, this Bhagavad Gita is not a religion book. It's not a religious book. It's not for Hindus. It's for everyone in the world. It's for Chinese. It's for Japanese. It's for Americans. It's for the people who are living in Somalia. It's for Indians too. Most important. Okay, otherwise we'll forget. we'll say, okay, it's not for me, because India is not mentioned. It's for everyone in the, not only in the world, it's for everyone in the entire universe. Not only in the universe, it's for everyone in the innumerable number of universes in this material world. There is not only one verse, there are metaverse. There is a concept of metaverse, innumerable number of universes. So this is applicable to every living entity living in all the universes. So with that said, let's begin the recitation of Bhagavad Gita, and we'll start with Mangalacharana prayers by invoking auspiciousness. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Rama
Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Tell the pattern. You read first two and the other.
Yeah. So before we start reciting the shlokas, a quick 1 minute to understand what Bhagavad Gita is all about. So how many of you have read Bhagavad Gita in your life? Okay, majority of them, except a few, majority of them. So what is Bhagavad Gita exactly? People who have mics, they should tell the answers.
Bhagavad Gita is a song of the God, as we said.
Song of God. Okay, very good. Bhagavad Gita is song of God. Gita is song. Bhagavat is from Bhagavan. Okay, belonging to Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. So song of God. Okay, what else? You can pass around. Yeah, Mataji.
Bhagavad Gita is way of life, where Krishna has spoken about how we should come to a level of being a devotee and how we should live our life,
Okay,
and how we should give up everything in service of Krishna, and then we can attain Krishna.
okay, wonderful. Bhagavad Gita teaches way of life. Okay, any other answers?
I think it helps you understand what is the purpose of life.
What is the purpose of life? Okay, excellent. Anyone else?
As our parents, as our teachers, as our friends, and God is means sometimes absence of teachers, absence of friend. So God is Krishna is a Sakshat Krishna, is a solution of any problem, any soul problem, any present problem, any material problem. It's a good friend, best friend. That's all.
Yeah, wonderful. Krishna is our Jagat Guru. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. So he is our eternal teacher. As she mentioned, Richa, right? Your name? Yeah, as Richa mentioned, in the absence of our parents, our teachers here, now Lord Sri Krishna is teaching us what to do in life. Okay, he is our guide. He is our eternal teacher, Jagat Guru. Okay, anything else? Someone from men? Ashok, can you please take the mic? Okay, what is Bhagavad Gita? Anyone from men?
Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. There is no one answer on what is Bhagavad Gita, but we can put so many answers, you
Yeah.
know. It's a conversation between Arjuna and Lord Krishna on the battlefield.
Mhm.
That is one
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita, Song of God. And it is probably one of the rarest books or scriptures on which the topic of the soul is discussed so
Mhm.
intensely.
Okay. Yeah, it's a conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Sacred conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. Ashok, why don't you say something?
Prabhuji, it's a book which where Krishna gives us instructions how to lead our life.
How to lead our life. Okay.
Yeah, where there are various chapters which describes like how to face art of dying, art of dying is there. Then also like the special qualities of the Lord,
Yeah.
as well as the Akshara Brahma Yoga.
Mhm.
And he also describes meditation, yoga.
Yep.
Almost all the aspects of how to live a life is described in Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. Wonderful. So we'll take last two. Sanjayanand Prabhu, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So Bhagavad Gita actually teaches us all to how to get ourselves entangled from the material existence,
Mhm.
How to get out of the cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease. And just like Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, Lord Krishna, at the battlefield, how Krishna can also take us from this material world.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Krishna Murli Prabhu, you want to say something? There is mic.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so it is the essence of all Vedic knowledge.
Okay, wonderful.
Given to us for our own benefit, so that we know how to navigate this material world and go back home, back to spiritual world with Krishna.
Okay, wonderful. Beautiful answer. Yeah. So all the answers are very beautiful. So now we're going to see from Bhagavad Gita what kind of experience you're all are going to get, both externally and internally. External experience is guaranteed here. While you are sitting in this room, it is guaranteed. Okay. So
Hare Krishna, pass the wireless mic to the Mataji side. They need one. And we will start, he will recite the first 2 lines and all of us will recite the second 2 lines and chapter wise. And if we can take turns, whoever is going to repeat it. Right? Hare Krishna. And let's start, it's going to be late otherwise. Hare Krishna.
okay. So Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, 700 slokas. So chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Arjuna was confused on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He decided not to fight against his relatives, teacher Dronacharya and grandfather Bhishma Dev. And he decided not to fight. He put his Gandiva away and he decided not to fight. And he surrendered to Lord Krishna seeking guidance, what to do. And that is when Krishna started speaking. So, chapter 1. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha
Mamaka Pandavachaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya.
Sanjaya Uvacha Drushtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodanastada
Acharya Upasangamsya Raja Vachanam Abravit.
Pashyetan Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum
Vyudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishena Dhimata.
Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi
Yudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha.
Drushtaketuschekitanaha Kashirajascha Viryavan
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Saibascha Narapungavaha.
Yudamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamojascha Viryavan
Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharataha.
Asmakantu Vishishtaye Tani Bodha Dvijottama
Nayaka Mama Sainyasya Savnyartan Bravite.
Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krupascha Samitinjayaha
Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattastataivacha.
Anye cha Bhavashura Madharte Tyakta Jivitaha
Nana Shastra Praharana Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha.
Aparyaptam Tadasmakam Balam Bhishma Virakshitam
Paryaptam Tvimatmetesho Balam Bhima Virakshitam.
Ayaneshu cha Sarveshu Yata Bhagam Avastitaha
Bhishma Eva Virakshantu Bhavanta Sarva Evahi.
Tasya Sanjanayan Harsham Kuru Vruddha Pitamaha
Simhanadam Vinodyascha Shankadadmo Pratavavan.
Tada Shankascha Beryascha Panavanaka Gomukaha
Sahasaivan Bhavavanvascha Sasadashatumola Bhavat.
Tata Shveter Hayer Yukte Mahati Syandane Stitau
Madhavaha Pandavaschaiva Divya Shanko Pradadmuta.
Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya
Poundro Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrkodaraha.
Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha
Nakula Sahadevascha Sughoma Panipushpakau.
काश्यश्च परमेश्वास शिखण्डी च महारथः
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकी विश्वपराजितः
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्वशः पृथिवीपते
सौपदश्च महाबाहो शङ्खदन्धु पृथक् पृथक्
सघोषोदार्तराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि व्यधारयत्
नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव तुमोलोऽभिवादान्
अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा दार्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वजः
प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पत्ते धनुरुद्यम पाण्डवः
ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदम् आह महीपते अर्जुन उवाच सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युत
यावदेतानि शिक्षेऽहं योद्धमानमतस्वितान्
कैर्मया सह योद्धव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसमुद्यमे 23 योत्स्यमानान् अवेक्षेऽहं ययेतेऽत्र समागतः
धार्तराष्ट्रस्य प्रियचिकीर्षुरसिंह
सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्तो हृषीकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत
सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमः
भीष्मद्रोणप्रमुखतः सर्वेषां च महीक्षितम्
उवाच पार्थ पश्यन्ते समन्वेतां कुरुन् इति
तत्र पश्य स्थितां पार्थ पितॄनत पितामहान्
आचार्यन् मातुलं भ्रातं पुत्रोन् पौत्रं सखीं च ता
स्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेय सर्वान् बन्धून् अवस्थितान्
कृपया परयाविष्टो विषिदनिदम् अब्रवीत्
अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेवं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं
सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति
वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते
गाण्डीवं संस्तृणीतस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते
न च शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं भ्रमति च मे मनः
निमित्तानिश्च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव
न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे
न काङ्क्षे विजया कृष्णा न च राज्यं सुखानि च
किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा
येषाम् अर्थे काङ्क्षणं मोहो राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च
तैमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च
आचार्यः पितरा पौत्रौ तत्त्वे च पितामहः
मातुला श्वशुरा पौत्रा श्याला सम्बन्धिनस्तदा
एतान्न हन्तुम् इच्छामि ज्ञातोऽपि मधुसूदन
अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किन्नु मही कृते
निहत्यादुतराष्ट्रान्ता प्रीति स्वजनार्दन
पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वैतान् आततायिनः
तस्मान्नाह वयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् सबान्धवान्
स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिना श्याम माधव यद्यप्येते न पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः
कुलक्षय कृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं
कथं न ज्ञेयम् अस्माभिः पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम्
कुलक्षय कृतं दोषं प्रपश्यन्ति जनार्दन
कुलक्षये प्रणश्यन्ति कुलधर्मा सनातनः
धर्मे नष्टिं कुलं कृष्णम् अधर्मो अभिवत्पयात्
अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः
स्त्रीषु दुस्ताषु वर्णेषु जायते वनशङ्करा
शङ्करो नरकायैव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च
पतन्ति पितरो येषां लुप्ता पिण्डोकदक्रिया
दोषैरेतैः कुलघ्नानां वर्णसङ्करकारकैः
उत्साद्यन्ते जति धर्मा कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वता
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दनां
नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुभम्
अहो बत महत्पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं
यद्राजा सुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनोदया
यदि माम् अप्रतीकारम् अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः
धार्तराष्ट्रारण्यस्तन्मे क्षैमतरं भवेत्
सञ्जय उवाच एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः सङ्ख्ये रथोपस्थ उपाविशत्
विसृज्य शंशराचापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः
ॐ तत्सदिति इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे अर्जुनविषादयोगो नाम प्रथमोऽध्यायः सम्पूर्णम्. Okay, now chapter contents of the Gita summarized. Sankhya Yoga. So when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, asking for guidance, what to do on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna started speaking. This is the chapter where Krishna starts speaking. Okay, 2.2 is the first verse that Krishna starts speaking. So Krishna first gives knowledge of the soul, telling Arjuna that we are not this body, but we are the soul. So you are not actually killing your own people on the opposite side of the battlefield, even though you are killing materially, but you're actually not killing them. Arjuna was thinking that he was going to kill them eternally. Krishna gave the knowledge of the soul and said that this body is temporary and soul is eternal. You're not killing them, you cannot kill them. Krishna gives several attributes of the soul, and he basically teaches Atma Tattva. Nanna. Okay. So Krishna teaches Atma Tattva and encourages Arjuna to fight. This is one of the longest chapters. Okay, chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga. Contents of the Gita summarized. In fact, chapter 2 is considered the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita, of all 18 chapters. Krishna first gives knowledge of Atma, and then he talks about Karma Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, and all of that stuff. Okay, let's begin. Sanjaya Uvacha Tham tada krupaya vishtam ashrupurnakulekshanam
Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupastitam
Anarya justam asavargyam avkirti karam arjuna
Klaibhyam asmagama partha naitattvai upapadyate
Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyakto dutishta parantapa
Arjuna Uvacha Katam Bhishma aham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana
Ishubhihi pratityochami pujarha varisudana
Guru nahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshamapi haloke
Atvatakamanstu guru vihaiva punjiya bhogan rudira pradigyan
Nachai tadvitmaha kataranno gariyo Yadva jayema yadivano jayeyuhu
Yanyeva hatva najijibishamaste avastita pramuke dhartarashtra
Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava Pruchami tvam dharma sammuda cheta
Yacheyashani shitam bruhitam me Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam
Nahi prapashyami mamanupadyat Yachokamuchoshanamindriyanam
Avapya bhuma vasapatnam riddham Rajyam suranam apichadipatyam
Sanjaya Uvacha Eva muktva hrishikesham Gudake Parantapa
Nayotya iti govindam yuktva tushnim babhuvaha
Tamuvacha Hrishikesha Prahasanniva Bharata
Senayorvayor madhye vishidantam idam vachaha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashocyanan Vachochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase
Gatasum cha nanushocanti panditaha
Natvevaham jatu nasam Natvam neme janadipa
Nachayvana bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataparam
Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara
Tata dehantara praptir dhirastatra namuhyati
Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada
Agama paino nityastam sitikshashva bharata
Yam hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshava
Samadukka shukam dhiram so amritavya kalpate
Nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha
Ubayorapi drishtontastvananyastatvadarshibhihi
Avinashitu tadviddhi yena sarvam idam tatam
Vinasham avyayasya nakaschit kartum arhati
Antavanta ime deha nityasyokta sharirinaha
Anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhashva bharata
Yayenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyate hatam
उभौ तौ न विजानीतो नायं हन्ति न हन्त्यते
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः
अजो नित्यं शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे
वेदा विनाशिनं नित्यं ययेनम् अजमव्ययम्
कथं स पुरुषा पार्थ कां गतायति हन्तिकम्
वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि
तथा शरीराणि विहया जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि
नैनं चिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः
न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यप्यो न शासति मारुतः
अच्छेद्योऽयम् अदाह्योऽयम् अक्लेद्यो शोष्य एव च
नित्यसर्वगतस्थाणुराचलोऽयं सनातनः
अव्यक्तोऽयम् अचिन्त्योऽयम् अविकार्योऽयमुच्यते
तस्मादेवं विदित्वैनं ननु शोचितमर्हसि
अतश्चैनं नित्यजातं नित्यं वा मन्यसे हृतं
तथापि त्वां महाबाहो नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च
तस्मात् परिहर्यते न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत
अव्यक्तनिदानि नानि एव तत्र का परिदेवना
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद्वदति तदैव चान्यः
आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्या शृणोति श्रुत्वापि येनं वेदना चैव कश्चित्
देहि नित्यम् अवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य न विकम्पितुमर्हसि
कर्म्याद्यदि उद्योच्येन शत्रस्य न विद्यते
यादृच्छया चोपपन्नं स्वर्गद्वारम् अपावृतम्
सुखिना क्षत्रिया पार्थ लभ्यन्ते युद्धमुद्दृशम्
अत चेत्त्वमिमां धर्म्यं सङ्ग्रामं न करिष्यसि
तथा स्वधर्मं कीर्तिं च हित्वा पापम् अवाप्स्यसि
अकीर्तिं चापि भूतानि कथयिष्यन्ति ते व्ययाम्
सम्भवावितस्य चाकृतिर्मरणादतिरिच्यते
भयाद्रणाद् उपरतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः
येषां च त्वं बहुनातो भूत्वा यस्यासि लाघवम्
अवाप्य वादांश्च बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तवाहितः
निन्दस्तै तथा समाप्ययं ततो दुःखतरं नु किम्
हतो वा प्राप्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम्
तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धया कृतनिश्चयः
सुखदुःखे समे कृत्वा लाभालाभौ जया जयौ
ततो युद्धाय युज्यस्व नैवं पापम् अवाप्स्यसि
एषा ते विहिता साङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्विमां शृणु
बुद्धया युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
नेहाभिक्रमनाशोऽस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमपि यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिरेकेह कुरु नन्दन
बहुसखा हि अनन्तश्च बुद्धयो अव्यवसायिनम्
यामिमां पुष्पितां वाचं प्रवदन्त्यविपश्चितः
वेदवादरता पार्थ न्यान्यादस्तिवादिनः
कामात्मना स्वर्गपरा जन्मकर्मा फलप्रदां
क्रियाविशेष बहुलां भोगैश्वर्यगतिं प्रति
भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तया पाहृतचेतसां
व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिर्समदौ न विद्यते
त्रैगुण्या विषया वेदा निस्त्रैगुण्यो भवार्जुन
निर्द्वन्द्वो नित्यसत्यस्थो निर्योगक्षेममात्मवान्
यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वथा सम्प्लुतोदके
तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मण्यस्य विजातनः
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन
मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भुर्मा ते सङ्गोऽस्तु अकर्मणि
योगस्था कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय
सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्ययो समभूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते
दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय
बुद्धौ शरणं अन्विच्छ कृपणा फलहेतवा
बुद्धियुक्तो जहातीह उभे सुकृतदुष्कृते
तस्माद् योगे युज्यस्व योगकर्मसु कौशलम्
कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः
जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ता पदं गच्छन्ति अनामयम्
यदा ते मोहकलिलं बुद्धिर्व्यतितरिष्यति भविष्यति
तदा गत्तञ्चि निर्वेदं श्रोत्यवस्य श्रुतस्य च
श्रुतिविप्रतिपन्ना ते यदा स्थास्यसि निश्चला
समादौ वाचला बुद्धिस्तदा योगम् अवाप्स्यसि
अर्जुन उवाच स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्तस्य केशव
स्थितधि किं प्रभाषेत किम् आशीत व्रजेत किम्
श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान्
आत्मनि एवात्मना तुष्टा स्थितप्रज्ञास्तदोच्यते
दुःखेषु अनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः
वितराग भय क्रोधा स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते
यः सर्वत्रानभिस्नेहस्तत्तत्प्राप्याशुभाशुभम्
नाभिनन्दन्ति न द्वेष्टे तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठता
यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः
इन्द्रियाणि अर्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः
रसावर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते
यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः
इन्द्रियाणि प्रमादितानि हरन्ति प्रशापमानः
तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः
वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
ध्यायतो विषयान् संगास्तेषूपजायते
संगात् संजयते कामा कामत् क्रोधोऽभिजायते
क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः
स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति
रागद्वेषविमुक्तैस्तु विषयान् इन्द्रियैश्चरन्
आत्मवश्यैर्विद्येयात्मा प्रसादम् अधिगच्छति
प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्यस्यो बुद्धिपर्यावतिष्ठते
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना
न च भावयता शान्तिरसन्तस्य कुतः सुखम्
इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतां यन्मनोनुविधीयते
तद्यस्य हरति प्रज्ञां वायुर्नावमिवाम्बसि
तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः
इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यस्तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी
यस्यां जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः
आपूर्यमानम् अचलं प्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापा प्रविशन्ति यद्वत्
तद्वत् कामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे सा शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी
विहाय कामान् यः सर्वान् पुमांश्चरति निःस्पृहः
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति
एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनं प्राप्य विमुह्यति
स्थित्वा शमन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं गच्छति
ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे सांख्ययोगो नाम द्वितीयाध्याय सम्पूर्णम्. So in this chapter, chapter 2, Krishna gives knowledge of the soul and he gives the entire summary of Bhagavad Gita. So as someone said, Radhika Leela Mataji or Srujana or someone else said, or what's her name? Sanjay Anand Prabhu? What's your wife's name? Dameshwari Radhika Mataji. So she said, Bhagavad Gita is a life manual. Okay? So it's a manual, instruction manual for human life. So what is human life? What does human life consist of? When you say human life, what does it consist of? You can tell 100 things, or you can tell few things. I'm looking for few things. Sorry? Ahara nidra bhaya matunam cha. Okay, that is part of, there is a process all living entities have to go through. But first of all, what does life, human life consist of? Intelligence, okay. Okay, there are 4 or 5 things. Okay, for the general audience, let's keep it to 4. Precisely, there are 5, but for the general audience, it is 4. So, what are the 4 things the human life consists of? So when you are leaving, that means you have, what is the first and foremost thing that you have? When you are leaving? Body. Who said body? Okay, very good. Puja Mataji. Pranasaki Mataji. Yeah. So body, okay. Then mind, very good. Intelligence. If we add false ego, then it's the fifth one. So it's a new concept to the general audience. So let's leave false ego. Soul, okay, or consciousness, okay. So human life consists of body, mind, intelligence, and soul, or consciousness. Bhagavad Gita has instructions for all these four components of life. It has instructions for body, how to maintain your body. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya. Chapter 6, Bhagavad Krishna says. And in chapter 17, Krishna tells what kind of food to eat, what kind of food to avoid. And the second component is mind. Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Bandhuratmat manastasya enatmaiva jitatmanaha anatmanatva shatrutve varte taivatma shatruvat. Krishna says, a controlled mind is your friend and an uncontrolled mind is your enemy. The same mind which is existing in every body. If you control it, if you keep it in your control, it's your friend. Otherwise, an irregulated mind or uncontrolled mind is your enemy. So your friend and enemy both are residing in you. So like that, Krishna gives instructions for mind. And then the third component is intelligence. Krishna gives instructions for intelligence, how to use intelligence, how to ask questions using your intelligence. Chapter 13, chapter 18, Arjuna asks 8 chapter, 8 questions. 13 chapter, few questions. So Krishna tells what kind of questions to ask. What kind of questions to ask. As this Prabhuji said, Ahara Nidya Nidra Bhayamaithunam. How to get rid of that cycle. Okay? How to get rid of that cycle. In order to do that, you need to ask questions. And Arjuna asked on behalf of us. Chapter 8, 8 questions, and chapter 13, some few questions. So Krishna tells how to use your intelligence to ask intelligent questions and get rid of this samsara sagara. And then the last one, soul or consciousness. Krishna gives instructions how to experience soul or how to experience consciousness, how to realize the wisdom of the soul. Okay, so he has instructions for all these four components of human life: body, mind, intelligence, and soul. Okay, there is false ego also, fifth component. It's a little complicated, so let's avoid that. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we have Bhagavad Gitas at the end. Those who would like to take one, you can take from there. And also today is an auspicious day. Please sponsor a set of Bhagavad Gitas. They have 16 books in that. It's $108 today. You can gift it to your friends or family, or you can take it for yourself. So they are waiting at the near the entrance. So please do consider sponsoring one Bhagavad Gita set. Hare Krishna.
So a box of one Bhagavad Gita book, one box contains how many books, Prabhu? 10? 16. 16 Bhagavad Gitas, and it is $108. The regular price of that box is $125. But today we have a sale going on this auspicious day of Gita Jayanti. It's only $108. So if anyone would like to donate and sponsor for one box of Bhagavad Gita or many boxes and participate in this Shastra Dan. Shastra Dan is the most auspicious charity that you can give. It's in the mode of goodness, or it's in the even higher than goodness. It's in the mode of pure goodness, Shastra Dan. So a lot of other living entities will get benefited with your donation. Okay, if anyone would like to donate, please contact Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. Prabhu, please come here. Or please raise your hand from there. Okay. Or he has a crew there in the back. Naresh Prabhu, Sunil Prabhu, Nitin Mujumdar Prabhu, Pranasaki Mataji. So there is a big crew. They're not going to leave you, okay? Oh yeah, the normal price of each book is, if you want to buy one book, it's $15. So the total price of 16 Bhagavad Gitas is how much? 15 times 16. 240. Okay. But if you buy in bulk, one box is $125. But if you buy it today, $108. Okay. Okay. Now, chapter 3. Chapter 3, Karma Yoga. You want to start now? Okay. So this is the perfect time actually to start the fire sacrifice. Chapter 3, Krishna tells, it's Karma Yoga. Krishna talks about various kinds of sacrifices. Okay, fire sacrifices and other kinds of sacrifices. So this is the perfect time to begin this Gita Mahayajna, fire sacrifice. So Shiva's Gaurang Prabhu will start that in a couple of minutes, and few families can come and participate, and then after that chapter is over, they can go back and sit in their place. Another set of people will come and participate. Okay, and it is free. Okay, Karma Yoga. So in chapter 2, Krishna gave knowledge of soul. But that's at the theory level. Now you need some practical realization of the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge. So to get the wisdom from your theoretical knowledge, you need to do some action. That action is nothing but service. In Krishna consciousness, that action, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, who is the commentator of Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavad Gita, the only genuine Bhagavad Gita in the entire world, in the entire universe. Okay, Srila Prabhupada is the commentator. So he, what was I saying?
So it's the Bhagavad Gita as it is.
No, I was saying something else.
It's okay. I think you already said. Let's
okay.
start.
So, Karma Yoga. So, Arjuna Uvacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhirjanardana
Tatkim Karmani Gore Mam Niyojayasi Keshava
Vyamishreneva Vakyena Buddhim Mohaya Shivame
Tadekam Vadanishchita Yanoshreyo Hapnuyam
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvividanishta Pura Prokta Maya Naga
Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam
Nakarmanam Anarambha Naishkarmyam Purushošnute
Nacha Sanyasanadeva Siddhim Samadhigacchati
Nahi Kaschit Kshanamapi Jatu Tishtyatya Kakmakrut
Karyateha Avashkarma Sarva Prakriti Jargune
Karmendriyani Samyamya Yayaste Manasa Smaran
Indriyatan Vimudhatma Mityachara Sauchate
Yastvindriyani Manasa Niyamya Rabate Arjuna
Karmendriya Karma Yogam Ashakta Sadishyate
Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam Karmajyayo Hyakarmanaha
Sharira Yatra Pitte
Namprasiddhyeda Karmanaha
Yajñartat Karmanonyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandanaha
Tadvartam Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sangha Samachara
Sahayajña Prajashrushta Purovacha Prajapatihi
Anena Pasada
Yudvam Yesavosti Istakamadhu
Devan Bhavayatanena Te Deva Bhavayantu Aha
Parasparam Bhavanyanta Shreya Paramavapsyata
Ishtan Bhogan Hi O Deva Dasyante Yajña Bhavitaha
Taidattana Pradabhyo Yobhunte Stena Evasaha
Yajña Shishtasina Santo Muchyante Sarva Kilbishaihi
Bhunjate Te Jagam Papa Ye Panchatyatmakarana
Annat Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha
Yajñat Bhavati Parjanyo
Yajna Karma Samudbhava
Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam
Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Niyatam Yajne Pratishtitam
Evam Pravartitam Chakram Nanuvartayati Hayaha
Agayurindriyaramo Bhogam Pata Sajivati
Yastvatma Ratireva Syat Atmatruptascha Manavaha
Atmanyeva Cha Santustas Tasya Karmanya Vidyate
Naiva Tasya Krute Nardo Nakrute Neha Karshana
चस्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यवप्सरा
तस्मात् असक्त सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर
असक्तो ह्यचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् अस्तीत जनकादयः
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्प्रस्यं कर्तुमर्हसि
यद्यद् आचरति श्रेष्ठ तत्तत् एवेतरो जनः
प्रमाणं कुरुते
लोकस्तदनुवर्तते
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किञ्चन
नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि
यदि ह्यहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्यतन्द्रितः
मम वर्तन्ते मनुष्या पार्थ सर्वसा
उत्सिदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्यान् कर्म चेदहम्
सङ्कर्षयस्यामुपहन्यामि मा प्रजाः
सक्ता कर्मण्यविद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत
कुर्याद् विद्वांस्तथा शक्तश्चिक्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहम्
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेद् अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां
जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्
प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः
अहङ्कारविमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते
तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्मा विभागयोः
गुणगुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा स सज्जते
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढा सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु
तन्न कृष्णविदो मन्दं कृष्णविन्ना विचालयेत्
मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्याध्यात्मचेतसा
निराशीर्निर्मणो भूत्वा युद्धस्य विगतचरा
एमे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः
शब्दवन्तो न श्रूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते प्रेपि कर्मभिः
एत्वेतत् अभ्यसूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतम्
सर्वज्ञानविमूढं स्तान् विद्धि नास्तन्न चेतसा
सदृशं चेष्टते स्वास्य प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि
प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति
इन्द्रियस्येन्द्रियस्यार्धे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ
तयोर्नावसमागच्छेत् तौ ह्यस्य परन्तु
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुतिष्ठात्
स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भवावः
अर्जुन उवाच अत केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पूरुषः
अनिच्छम् अभिवर्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजिता
श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एष रजो गुणसमुद्भवः
महाशानो महापाप्मा विद्येनाम्य वैरिणम्
दुवेन व्रियते वाह्निर्यथा दर्शो मलेन च
यतो ब्लेनावृतो गर्भात् तथा तैलमावृतम्
आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा
कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पुरेणानलेन च
इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिरस्याधिष्ठानमुच्यते
एतैर्विमोहगता येषा ज्ञानमावृत्य देहिनाम्
तस्मात् त्वमिन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतर्षभ
पापमानं प्रजाह्येनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम्
इन्द्रियाणि परन्याहुरिन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः
मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिर्यो बुद्धे
परसस्तु सा
एवं बुद्धे परं बुद्ध्वा संस्तभ्यात्मानमात्मना
जहि शत्रुमहाबाहो कामरूपं दुराशदम्
ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादा कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयाध्याय सम्पूर्णम् Okay, now you want to read or somebody from the ladies? Okay. Okay, somebody from the ladies also. You can take the mic and they are reading. Girls are reading. Okay, yeah. Okay, hold the mic close to your mouth so that it is audible clearly to the people who are listening online. Okay, so in third chapter, as we might have, people who are familiar with the verses, So Krishna said, only when we perform yajna, fire sacrifice, then there will be rain. And when there are rain, there will be crops. When there are crops, there will be grain. And when there are grains, there is food. And then the mankind is sustained. So probably in Seattle, we are performing these yajnas too much. That's why it's raining a lot. So Krishnamurli Prabhu. low volume. Do they have Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 4, Jnana Yoga. So now when you are doing action or service, as Krishna described in chapter 3, Karma Yoga, so you need to know why you are doing what you are doing. If you don't know why you are doing what you are doing, it will be simply a ritual. It will become mechanical over a period of time. So you need to have knowledge of what you are doing, whether it is good or bad, why you are doing what you are doing. You need to have the knowledge. So Krishna teaches that knowledge in chapter 4. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Ahamavyayam
Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshvake Bravi
Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu
Sakale Neha Mata Yogo Nashta Parantapa
Sayevayam Maya Tedya Yoga Prokta Puratanaha
Bhaktosi Me Sakhacheti Rahasyam Hetu Duttamam
Arjuna Uvacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivasvataha
Katamedat Vijaniyam Tamado Proktavaniti
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bahuni Me Vyatitani Janmani Tavacha Arjuna
Tanyaham Veda Sarvani Natvam Vetta Parantapa
Ajopi Sannavyayatma Bhutanam Ishwaropi San
Prakritim Swam Adhisthaya Sambhavamyatma Mayaya
Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata
Abhyudhana Dharmasya Tadatmanam Sujamyaham
Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Cha Dushkrutam
Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge
Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha
Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti Sorjuna
Vitaraga Bhayakroda Manmaya Mamupashritaha
Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Puta Madbhavamagataha
Eyata Mam Prapadyante Tamstataiva Bhajamyaham
Mama Vatmanu Vartante Manushya Pata Sarvasaha
Ankshanta Karmanam Siddhim Yajanta Iha Devataha
Kshipram Hi Manuse Loke Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja
Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha
Tasya Kartaramapi Mam Vidya Kartaramavvyayam
Namam Karmani Limpanti Name Karma Phale Spruha
Iti Mam Yo Bijanati Karma Bhena Sabhadyate
Evam Jnatva Kritam Karma Purvairapi Mumukshubhihi
Kuru Karmaiva Tasmatvam Purvai Purvataram Kritam
Kim Karma Kima Karmeti Kavayopyatra Mohitaha
Tatte Karma Pravikshami Yajnatva Mokshase Subha
Karmano Hyapi Bodhavyam Bodhavyam Cha Vikarmanaha
Akarmanascha Bodhavyam Gahana Karmano Gatihi
Karmanya Karmaya Pashed Akarmani Cha Karmayaha
Sabuddhiman Manusyeshu Sayukta Krishna Karma
Yasya Sarve Samarambha Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha
Jnanagni Dagda Karmanam Tamahu Panditambudaha
Tyaktva Karma Phala Sangam Nitya Kripto Nirashrayaha
Karmanya Vipravrittopi Naiva Kinchit Karoti Saha
Nirashiryata Chittatma Tyaktva Sarva Parigraha
Shariram Kevalam Karma Kurvannapnoti Kilbisham
Yadrucha Labha Santushto Dvandva Tito Vimutsaraha
Samasiddha Siddhau Cha Kritvapi Navibhadyate
Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavastita Chetasaha
Yajnacharatah Karma Samagram Praviliyate
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam
Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina
Daivameva Pare Yajnam Yogina Paryupasate
Brahmagna Pare Yajnam Yajna Naivo Pajuhvati
Shrotrānindriyānyanye Samyamagnishu Juhvati
Shabdānin Vishayan Anya Indriyagnishu Juhvati
Sarvānindriya Karmāni Prāna Karmāni Chāpare
Atma Samyamya Yogano Juhvati Jnana Dīpite
Dravya Yajnastato तपो यज्ञ योग यज्ञास्तदा परे
स्वाध्याय ज्ञान यज्ञश्च यतयः संसिताव्रताः
अपाने जुह्वति प्राणं प्राणे पानं तदा परे
प्राणापान गतिरुद्ध्वा प्राणायामपरायणाः
अपरे नियताहारः प्राणान् प्राणेषु जुह्वति सर्वेप्येते यज्ञविदो यज्ञक्षपिता कल्मषः
यज्ञशिष्टामृतभुजो यान्ति ब्रह्म सनातनम्
नायं लोकोऽस्ति अयज्ञस्य कुतोऽन्या कुरु सत्तमा एवं बहुविधा यज्ञा वितता ब्रह्मणो मुखे
कर्मजान् विदितान् सर्वान् एवं ज्ञात्वा विमोक्ष्यसे
श्रेयान् धर्ममयात् यज्ञा ज्ञान यज्ञा परन्तप
सर्वं कर्माखिलं पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते
तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया
उपदेशन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः
यज्ञात्वा न पुनर्मोहम् एवं यास्यसि पाण्डव
येन भूतान्यशेषानि द्रक्ष्यस्यात्मन्यहो मयि
अपि चेदसि पापेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः पापकृत्तमः
सर्वं ज्ञानप्लवेनैव विलीनं सन्तरिष्यति
यतैदांसि समोद्विग्निर्भ्रंशसात् भस्मसात् कुरुते अर्जुन
ज्ञानाग्निः सर्वकर्माणि भस्मसात् कुरुते
न हि ज्ञानेन सदृशं पवित्रम् इह विद्यते
तस्वयं योगसंसिद्धः कालेनात्मनि विन्दति
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परा संयतेन्द्रियः
ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति
अज्ञश्च श्रद्धादानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति
नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखं संशयात्मनः
योगसन्न्यस्तकर्माणां ज्ञानसञ्छिन्न संशयम्
आत्मवन्तं न कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय
तस्मादज्ञानसम्भूतं हृत्स्थं ज्ञानाश्रिनात्मनः
चित्वेनं संशयं योगम् आस्तिस्तोत्तिष्ठ भारत.
Okay, so that was chapter 4 in the name of
Karma Yoga.
Chapter 4, Jnana Yoga.
Oh, sir.
Transcendental knowledge. Okay. So these are very popular verses in this chapter. Yada yada hi dharmasya and pavitranaya sadhunam, paritranaya sadhunam. Those who are familiar with Mahabharata from B.R. Chopra, these are very popular verses. So yeah, in this chapter, Krishna gives knowledge, why we need to perform service. You need to know why we are doing what we are doing. Krishna also gives the history of Bhagavad Gita. So our understanding of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. But Krishna actually spoke it to sun god Vivaswan. That was some trillion number of years ago. And Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita even now to someone at some planet, some universe, to someone. Krishna is speaking to Bhagavad Gita. In fact, he's speaking Bhagavad Gita to all of us. When we are reciting Bhagavad Gita, that means it is an instruction for each individual. Don't think that it is only for Arjuna, not for me. When Krishna says, "Oh Partha, oh Dhananjaya," don't think that it's only for Arjuna. It is for us. You have to take that as a individual instruction, okay, to each one of us. Now, chapter 5. Action in Krishna consciousness. Actually, before that, in chapter 4, there are some nice tongue twisters for kids. Kids, are you ready? You like tongue twister? Tongue twister. Okay? So let's try one. Action in inaction, inaction in action. Okay. So go home, repeat that 10 times, 20 times, and have fun. Action in inaction, inaction in action. Yeah, even adults can have fun too. So, okay. Chapter 5, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So this is a fusion of chapter 3 and chapter 4. So chapter 3, Karma Yoga, chapter 4, Jnana Yoga, and chapter 5 is a fusion of both. So when you have karma, which is service or action on one side, and when you have knowledge on the other side, jnana. So some people are more inclined to cultivating knowledge, jnana. Some people are more inclined to performing service, action. They're action oriented. So which one is better? Action or knowledge? Which one is better? Not Ashok. Action is more important? Action with knowledge. Okay. Very good. But I was expecting wrong answers first. Okay. So then the importance of the right answer is elevated. Okay. So if you are thinking action is more important, then you are wrong. If you are thinking knowledge is more important, you are wrong. So both are like, knowledge and action are like two tracks of a train. Okay. When both tracks are balanced, only then the train will run smoothly. So action and knowledge should go hand in hand, in parallel. Okay. Hare Krishna, Prema Chandrika. Are you ready with your kirtans? Okay. So what we wanted to do is, before we begin reciting a new chapter, we wanted to glorify Krishna by singing kirtan for a half a minute or 1 minute maximum. So if you are ready, you can start now. That sets the right mood for everyone, and also it glorifies Krishna. Vasudeva Sutam or anything, Take the microphone.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam.
Louder.
Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.
Okay, when South Indians hear this, they feel like they are in Vaikunta, right? So, okay. So, by the way, in the beginning, I said Bhagavad Gita is not only for Indians, it is for Chinese, Americans, and everyone. And looks like two sincere souls from China, they heard it and they came here. And they are sitting here at the fire sacrifice. Okay, give a big round of applause to them. Okay, what's your name, please? Lulu. Okay, and Isaac. Okay, Lulu and Isaac. Okay, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay, yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay, chapter 5. Arjuna uvacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samshasi. Shri Bhagavan uvacha sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyasakara ubhau.
Tayostu karma sannyasa karma yoga vishishyate.
Yeyasa nitya sannyasi yonadveshti na kankshati.
Nidvandvo hi mahabaho sukham bhatat pramuchyate.
Sankhya yoga pradhak bhala pravadanti na panditaha.
Ekam apyasita samyak ubayor vindate phalam.
Yat sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogai api gamyate.
Ekam sankhya cha yogam cha ya pashyati sapashyati.
Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogataha.
Yoga yukto muni brahma nachirenda ki kachati.
Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha.
Sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvanapi na lipyate.
Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavet.
Pashyan shrinvan sprishan chikran ashran gachan sapansan.
Pralapan visrajan grihnan unnisham nimisham api.
Indriyani indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharayan.
Brahmanyadaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha.
Lipyate na sa papena padma patram ivambasa.
Kayena manasa buddhya kevalair indriyairapi.
Yogina karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva shuddhaye.
Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim.
Ayukta kama karena फले सक्तो निबध्यते
सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी
नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन् कारयन्
न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः
न कर्मफलसंयोगं सभास्तु प्रवर्तते
नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः
अज्ञानेनातं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः
ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः
तेषामादित्यवत् ज्ञानं प्राकश्यन्ति तत्परम्
तद्बुद्धयास्तदात्मानस्तन्निष्ठा तत्परायणः
गच्छन्त्यपुनरावृत्तिं
ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषा
विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि
शुनि चैव स्वपाके च पण्डितसमदर्शिनः
इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः
निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्माणि ते स्थितः
न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य च प्रियं
स्थिरबुद्धिरसामूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः
बाह्यस्पर्शे स्वसक्तात्मा विन्दत्यात्मन् यतत् सुखं
स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तं सुखमक्षयमश्नुते
एहि सम्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते
आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय न ते शूरमते बुधः
शक्नोति हैव यसोढुं प्राक्शरीराविमोक्षणात्
कामक्रोधात् भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः
योऽन्तः सुकोऽन्तरारामस्तदान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः
स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति
लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणां ऋषया क्षीणकल्मषाः
छिन्नद्वैद्वयतात्मानं सर्वभूतहिते रतः
कामक्रोधाभिमुक्तानां यतिनां यतचेतसाम्
अभितो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मना
स्पर्शन् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यांश्चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः
प्राणापानसमौ कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ
यतेन्द्रिया मनोबुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षापरायणः
विगते च भयाक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव स
भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकामहेश्वरम्
सूर्यदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिं पृच्छति.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 5 in the matter of action in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this chapter has a beautiful verse, the last one, 5.29. It's a peace formula. Krishna says he is the best friend of everyone. So now Krishna Murli Prabhu is going to speak on that. So today in your offering, Gita offering, you spoke about this verse. So why don't you speak about that for a minute? Louder.
Hare Krishna. So in my offering to Lord Shri Krishna about Bhagavad Gita, thanking the Lord for giving us this divine knowledge, I made a mention of this verse because this world, being the material world, it's full of anxieties and so many problems everywhere. And Krishna says this is Dukalayam. However, he is also giving us the formula to overcome these anxieties. Because in this verse, he clearly says that he is the supreme benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. When we are in full consciousness of Lord Krishna, if we know him to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. For example, right now we are giving the fire sacrifice now. So Krishna is the benefactor of this sacrifice. So whatever sacrifice we do at home, at work, at temple, wherever, if we perform any sacrifice, Krishna says that he is the benefactor or the beneficiary of all sacrifices. And he is the supreme lord of all the planets and demigods. And he is the well-wisher of all living entities. So he's not just the well-wisher of...
One second, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So, Sandeep Prabhu and Sunil Prabhu, click on the text 29. You will see the translation and everything. So, show the translation there. Click on the text 29, that link. Yeah, click that link. Yeah. So, show the translation. Yeah. So, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So, as we can see here, Krishna is saying that when we are in full consciousness of Lord Shri Krishna, and when we know him to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. So whatever sacrifices we perform, like at temple right now, or at home, or at work, whatever austerities we perform, Krishna says he's the beneficiary of all these sacrifices. And he's the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities. If we know this, we can attain peace. So even though the material world may be full of anxieties and material miseries, and they are like pangs biting us, but if we know this truth, then we can be freed from those anxieties and we can live in peace even in this material world. So that's why in the purport, if Prabhuji can scroll up in the purport. So here Prabhupada says that the conditioned souls within the clutches of the illusory energy are all anxious to attain peace in the material world. Everybody is seeking peace, but they do not know the formula for peace, which is explained in this part of Bhagavad Gita. The greatest peace formula is simply this: Lord Krishna is the beneficiary in all human activities. So we should offer everything in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord. Why? Because He is the supreme controller, He is the supreme proprietor and enjoyer. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you. So now chapter 6, Dhyana Yoga. There are different names to this chapter: Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Atma Samyamya Yoga. Okay, before we start recitation, okay, some glorification of Krishna. Akshara, go ahead.
Niyate Shakate Padhya Trinavarte Cha Mardite Krishnena Vishnuna Soyam Swasta Kridati Balavat.
Okay, wonderful. You're taking us to South India. From there, Vaikunta. Okay, Dhyana Yoga, Atma Samyamya Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga. These are different names. Okay. Shri Bhagava. Okay, in this chapter, Krishna explains how to control mind. How to control mind. First, he describes the Ashtanga Yoga process, the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga process, which is very difficult and impractical to follow in this age of Kali. With our material occupations, we cannot leave everything and go to a secluded place and practice Ashtanga Yoga. So Krishna describes all the details of this, and then in the end, he says it is impractical to do this in this material, in the age of Kali. But most important lesson from this chapter is an instruction for mind. That's the second component of human life, right? Body, mind, intelligence, and soul. So when Arjuna says it is very difficult to control the mind, Arjuna being a great Kshatriya, he says, I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. Then Krishna says, yes, I agree. It is difficult to control mind, but it is possible with suitable practice and detachment. With suitable practice and detachment. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Abhyasa and vairagya. Abhyasa practice, vairagya detachment. So if you practice this if you follow this practice and detachment, abhyasa and vairagya, then you can control the mind. Whenever the mind is, there are different techniques, right? Whenever the mind is going away, you bring it back, or you focus on Krishna. You know, there are different techniques. That itself is a vast topic. Okay, let's begin the recitation. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Anashrita Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Yam Sanyasam Iti Prahur Yogam Tam Vidhi
Sankalpo yogi bhavati kashchana
Arurukshor Munir Yogam Karma Karanamuchyate
Yogarudhyasya tasyaiva samarkaranamuchyate
Yada hi nendriyarteshu na karmashvanu sajjate
Sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogarudhasadochyate
Uddaredatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmana
बन्धुरात्मात्मनस्तस्य येनात्मैवात्मना जितः
अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत्
जितात्मना प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु ततमानापमौनयः
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रितः
युक्तो इति उच्यते योगी समलोत्स्मकञ्चनः
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीना मध्यस्था द्वेष्यपन्दुषु
साधुषु अपि च चापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते
योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः
एकाकी यति चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः
शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः
नाति उच्चरितं नाति नीचं चैलाज्येन कुशोत्तरम्
तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः
योगमात्मा विशुद्धये
समं कायाशिरोग्रीवं धारयन् अचलं स्थिरः
दिशश्च
प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तम् अनश्नतः
नाचाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन
युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेतस्य कर्मसु
युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः
यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावस्थिते
निष्प्रहा सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा
यथा दीपो निवातस्थो नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता
योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युज्यते योगमात्मनः
यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मानि तुष्यति
सुखम् अत्यान्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यम् अतीन्द्रियं
वेति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यन्ते नादिकं ततः
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचल्यते
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोगा वियोगं योगसंनितं सनिश्चयेन योक्तव्यो योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा
संकल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः शनैर्शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया
आत्मसंस्थं मना कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्
यतो यतो निश्चलति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरं
ततस्ततो नियम्येत्यादात्मन्येवावशं नयेत्
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्मरम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते
सर्वभूतास्तमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
इक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शिनः
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति
सर्वभूतास्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः
अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्ता साम्येन मधुसूदन
एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितं स्थिरम्
चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाति बलवदृढम्
तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायुरिवासि दुष्कृतम्
श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम्
अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येन न गृह्यते
असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः
वश्यात्मना स्वीयोक्ताता साख्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः
अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयापेतो योगाच्चलितमानसः
अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति
कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रास्ता छिन्नाभ्रम् इव नश्यति
अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणोपति
एतान्मे संशयं कृष्ण चेतुमर्हति देहस्य शेषतः
त्वदन्यसंशयस्य चेतना हि उपपद्यते
श्रीभगवानुवाच पार्थ नैवेह नामूत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते
न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तथा गच्छति
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतं लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः
शुचीनं श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टो विजायते
अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम्
एतादि दुर्लभतरं योगे जन्म यदीदृशम्
तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभन्ते पौर्वदेहिकम्
यतते च ततो भूया संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः
जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्मादि वर्तते
प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः
अनेकजन्म संसिद्धस्ततो याति परं गतिम्
तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः
कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ता तमो मतः.
Okay, that was end of chapter 6. Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga or Atma Samyamya Yoga. So the word Atma can refer to soul and also mind. Sanskrit is a very rich language. Same word can have 100 meanings, 100 different meanings depending on the context. Same word can have a lot of meanings. So the word Atma in this chapter means mind. Atma Samyamya Yoga. Controlling the mind, the yoga of controlling mind. Ashtanga Yoga is all about controlling the mind and meditating upon the super soul within. But Krishna rejected that. He said it's impractical to do this in this age, and he rejected it. So Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, and there are 3 sections. First 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters, and the last 6 chapters. The first 6 chapters collectively known as Karma Yoga, and the middle 6 chapters collectively known as Bhakti Yoga. The last 6 chapters collectively known as Jnana Yoga. So Krishna teaches Karma, Bhakti and Jnana. And Bhakti is being most precious. It is sandwiched between Karma and Jnana. So anything precious, it's like a jewel box. Bhagavad Gita is like a jewelry box. So you keep the jewelry or the necklace in the middle of the box, inside the box, in the middle. There will be a top cover and bottom cover of the jewelry box, but in the middle you keep the precious pearl necklace or platinum, whatever. So like that, the middle 9 chapters are most precious. Bhakti Yoga, chapter 7 to 12. So we just concluded the first section of Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga. Okay, now we'll begin. Okay, Sunil, can you click on text 47? So in chapter 6, at the end of chapter 6, Krishna said, open the translation. So here Krishna said, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. So here Krishna is saying, of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the topmost yogi. So Krishna is saying, one who abides in me with faith. So here the word Shraddha, it can refer to 2 meanings. Shraddha, faith and attentiveness. Faith and attentiveness. So when you are performing service, you need to be attentive. So we talked about service or action in chapter 3. And you need to have knowledge and know why you are doing what you are doing. And now you need to be attentive. While performing the service, you need to be attentive. That is Shraddha. Another meaning of Shraddha is faith. You need to have faith on the Lord. You need to have faith on the service that you are doing. So, but how to develop that faith? How to develop faith? How to establish faith and how to develop faith on Krishna? How? Answers. Looking for answers. Sorry? How can we develop faith on Krishna? engaging with, associating with devotees. Okay. Same answer? Okay. Anything else? Hearing Bhagavatam. Hearing Bhagavatam. Reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Reading and hearing about him. Oh, hearing, you said hearing about him. Okay, now I got it. Okay. Okay, good. Fantastic. So, hearing about him. You can develop faith on Krishna only by hearing about him. Any person for that matter. If I want to develop faith on Devanath Hari Prabhu, I want to know how rich he is and which planet he is he's ruling. I need to know all those details. Then I can. He's here. He's sitting right here. He's a king, but he's sitting like a humble, person. So when I know more details about him, then I can develop faith on him, whether he's really king or not. So similarly, we need to know about Krishna. We need to hear about Krishna. Then we can develop faith on him. And that is what Krishna is going to do starting from chapter 7 onwards. Chapter 7 is titled as Knowledge of the Absolute. Ashok, what is the Sanskrit name for this? Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Yeah. Chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. Knowledge of the Absolute. Shri Bhagav. Now this is going to be even more interesting and beautiful, melodious. You name all those attributes and great qualities. Okay? So you become all ears. No hands, no legs. You become all ears and listen to this melody. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha. More louder. We have about 50, 60 or 70 people here. We can be much louder actually. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayaha
Asanshayam Samagram Mam Yata Dhyana Shittakshunu
Jnanam Teham Sabhijnanam Idam Bhaksham Yase Sataha
Yajnatvaneho Bhuyana Jnatpadam Avishashyate
Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye
Yatatam api siddhanam Kaschin mam veti tatvata
Bhumira Nalo Vayuhu Kammano Buddhirevacha
Ahankara iti yamme binna prakriti rashtada
Apareyam itastvanyam prakritim viddhi me param
Jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam dayate jagat
Etadyonini bhutani sarvani ityupadaraya
Aham Krishnasya jagatah prabhava pralayastata
Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya
Mai sarvam idam protam sute manigana iva
Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo
Pranava sarva vedeshu sabdake paurusham nishu
Punyo gandha pradhivyam cha tejaschasmi vibhavasau
Jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu
Bijam mam sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatanam
Buddhir buddhimatamashmi tejas tejasvinamaham
Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam
Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava
Echaiva sattvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye
Matta eveti tan viddhi natvaham teshu te mayi
Tribirgunamayair bhavair ebi sarvamidam jagat
Mohitam na vijanati mamebhya paramavyayam
Daivihesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya
Mamevaye
Prapadyante mayam etam taranti te
Namam dushkrutino muda prapadyante naradamaha
Maya parata jnana asadam bhavam ashrita
Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukrutino arjuna
Ato jignasararthi jnani sa bharatarshava
Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate
Priyo hi jnaninotyartam aham sa mama priya
Udara sarva evaite jnanitvatmaiva me matam
Ashrita sahi yuktatma mameva nutama मार्गतिम्
बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते
वासुदेव सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः
कामस्तैस्तैर्हृतज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः
तं तं नियममास्ताय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया
यो यां तनुं भक्ता श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति
तस्य चलां श्रद्धां तामेव विदधाम्यहम्
सतया श्रद्धया युक्तास्तस्याराधनमीहते
लभते च तथा कामं मयैव विहितान्
अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसाम्
देवं देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि
अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः
परं भावम् अजानन्तो मामव्ययम् अनुत्तमम्
नाहं प्रकाश सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः
मूढोऽयं न विजानाति लोकमजमव्ययम्
वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन
भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन
इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्तेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत
सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप
येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां
ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां हृदव्रता
जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये
ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृष्णम् अध्यात्मनम्
साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः
प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 7. Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. Krishna is the absolute truth. Krishna says in this chapter, Mattaha Parataram Nanyat. There is no truth superior than me. If you have to talk to somebody and prove how Krishna is supreme, just refer to this chapter. Mattaha Parataram Nanyat. Krishna says, there is no truth superior than me. Not even Vishnu, not even Brahma, Shiva or anyone. Krishna is saying, Mattaha Parataram Nanyat. There is no truth superior to me. And Krishna tells lot of the opulences of him. Most importantly, Krishna tells how we can see Krishna's presence in this material world. While living in the material world, how we can see Krishna's presence in everything around us. Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranava sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham rushu. I am the taste in the water. Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So whenever you drink water, you can meditate upon that. You can think of Krishna. You can feel the presence of Krishna. You can become attentive when you feel the presence of a person. If the person is not in front of you, you will not be attentive. That Shraddha, right? In the 6.47, Shraddha means attentiveness and faith, both. So you can become attentive when you feel the presence of a person. And you can feel the presence of a person when you hear about him. When you hear about Krishna, and Krishna is saying, you can feel my presence in everything in the material world. The water, and Punyo Gandha Pradivyamcha. I am the fragrance in the earth. Beautiful flowers, different flowers give, beautiful fragrances, different fragrances. Same earth molecules, but when they are combined in different permutations and combinations, they give a different fragrance. And Krishna is saying that fragrance comes from me. The taste in the water comes from me. The strength in the mighty people comes from me, and so on. He's giving his opulences, some of his opulences, and he's asking us to feel his presence in some of the things in the material world. So when you feel his presence, you will be attentive. Like Krishna is here, this Krishna is none other than that Supreme Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana. So when you are in front of Krishna here, you are attentive. And when you go back home, you are something different. So to feel presence of Krishna, you need to know about him and his opulences, his vibhuti. Hare Krishna, Mod, how are you? Okay, and is Naresh here? Kirtan, right? Yes, yeah. Okay, Naresh is not there, right? Okay. Ashok, can you call Naresh? He might be downstairs. Yeah. Okay, now let's do a Kirtan.
सकलु महानुभावो लीलया परिकलित अखिलाण्डकोटि ब्रह्माण्डनायको मधुसूदननामा व्रजपुरवरसुन्दरी परिवेष्टितो वशीदीकृत महामायोऽपि माया परवशो बालका इव लीला विनोदं दर्शयन् कलभगवन् कलभाषणा.
Very good. Give a big round of applause to them. Especially it's in Telugu. Okay. It almost sounded like Telugu. Kirtan should be 5 minutes. That means they are singing so beautiful. They want more of it. We can finish by 9 o'clock. We can finish by 9 o'clock. Even with the Kirtans, we can finish by 9 o'clock. Okay. Okay, now chapter 8. Attaining the Supreme. Now, after hearing about Krishna in chapter 7, what happens? What happens next? Okay, you start developing faith, and also, what else happens? If you start hearing about Devanath Hari Prabhu's kingdom, what happens? Huh? You want to know more. After knowing more?
You want to go see it.
Huh?
You want to go see it.
You want to go see it. Okay, very good. You want to attain it. You know, Devanath Hari Prabhu, a kingdom, you want to attain it. So, now after the recitation, you all go and see him. Okay? So, you develop a desire to attain Krishna. After hearing about Krishna, you develop faith and you develop a desire to attain Krishna. This is the chapter 8. Chapter 8 is all about Chapter 8 is all about knowing how to attain Krishna. How to attain Krishna at the time of death. Krishna teaches in this chapter the art of dying. The art of dying. Now we all heard of art of living. There is an organization and so much happens in the name of art of living. But art of dying, Krishna teaches in this chapter. Bhagavad Gita teaches both. Bhagavad Gita teaches art of living and leaving. Living and leaving. Both. It teaches both. So, if that art of dying sounds too scary, then just keep it to leaving. Okay? Art of living and leaving. So, I don't know if the pronunciation is correct or not. The American kids may not accept it. But that's what it is. Living and leaving. Okay? So, Krishna teaches that knowledge here in this chapter. Krishna says, whatever one remembers at the time of death, that state you will attain after death. Whatever you remember at the time of death, your entire life is flashed in front of you in 30-40 seconds. Whatever you have done in the entire life is flashed in front of you like a movie in 30-40 seconds. And you are given an opportunity to remember Krishna. And if you remember a family member, then you will take birth as a person in that family in the next life. And if you remember your business at the time of death, you might be born as an employee in that business in the next life, or you might be a cockroach in the same factory or shop in the next life. And if you remember an animal, your pet dog or pet cat or pet snake or whatever, if you remember an animal at the time of death, you will become an animal in the next life. And if you remember Krishna at the time of death, you don't become Krishna. Don't expect that, okay? You will go back to Krishna. If you remember an animal, you will become an animal. But if you remember Krishna, you don't become Krishna. You will go to Krishna in the next life. Okay? Okay, chapter 8, Attaining the Supreme. Arjuna Uvacha, Akshara Parabrahma Yoga, Attaining the Supreme. Kim tat brahma, kim adhyatmam, kim karma, purushottama.
Adibhutam cha kim proktam, adidevam kim ushyate.
Adiyajna katam kotra dehesmin madhusudana.
Pranayakale cha kadam jyotosi niyatatmabhi.
Okay, so pay attention to this. This is not pranaya kale. This is prayana kale. I heard a lot of people said pranaya kale. It changes the complete meaning. And you all know what pranaya and prayana is. Prayana is journey, the last journey of the soul. Okay? And pranaya is Devanand Hari Prabhu. What is pranaya? Love. Pranaya is love. Yeah. 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 So, okay, prayanaka. Let's recite that verse again. Adiyajna katam kotra dehesmin madhusudana.
Prayanakale cha kadajñayam nitasmyatam.
Shri Bhagavan uvacha aksharam brahma paramam svabhavodhyatma muchyate.
Bhuta bhavodbhava karo visarga karma samyata.
Adibhutam sharo bhava purushashchadi daivatam.
Adiyajño hame rata dehe dehavrutam vara.
Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram.
Yaprayati samadbhavam yati nasa samshaya.
Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram.
Tam tam evati kaunteya tadha sadbhava bhavitaha.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha.
Maya
Mano buddhir mame vaishya samshaya.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanyagamina.
Paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan.
Kavim purana manushasitaram anor aniyam shamanusmaredyaha.
Sarvasya dhara chantarupam aditya varnam tamasa parasyat.
Prayana kale manasa chalena bhaktya
yukto yoga balena chaiva. Bhruvordhmatye pranayamesha samyak samtam param purusham paiti divyam.
Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti yadyatato pitaragaha.
Yadicchato brahmacharam charanti tatte padam sangrahane maviprakshe.
Sarvadvarani samyamya manohrudi nirudhya cha.
Mudvadayatmanam pranam astito yogadharanam.
Omityekaksharam brahma vyaharan mamanusmaran.
Yaprayati jajandeham sayati paramam gatim.
Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashaha.
Tasyaham sulabhapada nityayuktasya yoginaha.
Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam.
Napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramangata.
Brahma bhuvanaloka punaravartinorjuna.
Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
Sahasra yuga paryantam aharyad brahmano viduhu.
Dhatrim yuga sahasrantam tehro tatra videjnana.
Avyaktadyktaya sarva prabhavantyharagame.
Ratrayo pralanyante traitraivajna samyate.
Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate.
Ratryakameva saparta prabhavatyharagame.
Parastasmattu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha.
Yassa sarveshu bhutesu nasyatsu na vinashyati.
Avyaktokshara ityuktastamāho paramam gatim.
Yaprapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama.
Purushasa parapartha bhaktya labhayastvananyaya.
Yasyasnastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tamam.
Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha.
Prayatayanti tam kala vrakshami bharatarshabha.
Agnirjyotir aham शुक्ला सन्मासा चन्द्र उत्तरायणम्
तत्र प्रयता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविदो जना
धूमो रात्रिस्तदा कृष्णा सन्मासा दक्षिणायनम्
तत्र चान्द्रमासं ज्योति योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते
शुक्लकृष्णे गतिह्येते जगता शाश्वते मते
एकया यात्यनानिवृत्तिं यन्या वर्तते पुनः
नैते श्रुति पार्थजानान् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुन
वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत्पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टम्
अत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्.
Okay, that was end of chapter 8 in the matter of Akshara Parabrahma Yoga or attaining the Supreme.
Hare Krishna. Those who are participating, next batch can come, and we also have the Bhagavad Gita sets there at the entrance. Please sponsor one set. It has 16 Bhagavad Gitas. It costs around $108 per donation. It actually costs $240, but we are giving it $108 today. Please take it, and you can sponsor it, and you can take it home, or you can give it to your friends and families. Hare Krishna.
I want that after you. Wait.
Oh, hold on. I thought that was you. I was like,
I want this after you.
Chapter 7. Chapter 9. Okay. Okay, and you can also practice memorizing Bhagavad Gita shlokas. When you practice memorizing the shlokas, and you can meditate on them throughout the day, that will give you a good, good feeling, and you will practice remembering Krishna. And if you remember Krishna at the time of death, you will go back to Krishna. Not become Krishna, but go back to Krishna. Everybody wants to become Krishna. That's the disease, right? That's our disease. That's why we are here. Okay, another piece of information is, see, we are all reciting these shlokas by looking at the text, right? Now there are two girls from this congregation, from this temple. One girl's name is Shreya, another girl is Manya. They are 13 and 14 years old. They are in middle school. They can sit here and recite entire 700, all the 700 shlokas out of their memory. They don't need to look at. They are not here, but Shreya will be here tomorrow morning. She will recite all 700 shlokas from her memory. And on December 11th, we're also doing a program with kids, VCC kids, VCC Vedic school kids, and also even everyone outside also welcome. All kids are welcome to participate in the program called Gita Champion. So it's not a competition, but kids can memorize 5 or 10 shlokas. Yeah, December 11th. Kids can memorize 5 or 10 shlokas, and they can come here, and we'll do a program for 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and they can recite the shlokas. And on the same day, we're also going to do a prakriya with, it's called Avadanam, Gita Avadanam. Okay, Avadanam on Bhagavad Gita. That girl Manya, she's going to come here, and you can ask, what is 129th verse in Bhagavad Gita? Now, how much time do you take to calculate that and figure out which chapter? First of all, you need to know how many shlokas in each chapter, and you need to do the math. Like our Durga teacher, who is a good math teacher, she can do in 20 seconds, or we might take 10 minutes. But this girl Manya, she's going to tell in 2 seconds, and she will recite the shloka. You just tell the shloka number, 129, 137, or 257. Just tell the shloka number. She will do the math. How many chapters? How many shlokas in first chapter, second chapter? She will add all those numbers, and then that 127 shloka in 2 seconds. Like that, there are so many prakriyas. Like you give a number, 134. minus 5. She will recite 134 shloka and previous 5 shlokas. And you tell 197 plus 7. She will tell 197th shloka and then the 7 shlokas after that. There are so many prakriyas. It's going to be mind-boggling. December 11, you all please come here. Same 6 o'clock. Okay, we'll start the program at 6 o'clock. Okay. Now, chapter 9, my favorite chapter. The most confidential knowledge, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Now, in this chapter, Krishna gives more knowledge about his opulences. He gives knowledge about his opulences, and he also tells the relationship between Krishna and the living entities. Shri Bhagavanuvāca idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshamyanasūyave
Jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnana mokshase subha
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam pavitram idamuttamam
Pratyakshagamam yam susukam kartum avyayam
Shraddadana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa
Aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vatmani
Maya tadamidam sarvam jagadavyakthamurtina
Mastani sarvabhutani nachaham teshavastita
Nachamastani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram
Bhutavirna bhutasto mamatma bhutabhavana
Yadakashastito nityam vayu sarvatra gomahan
Tata sarvani bhutani mastani tyupadarya
Sarvabhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamakam
Kalpashe punastani kalpadau vishrujamyaham
Prakritim swamavastabhya visrujami punah punaha
Bhutagamamimam krishnam avastam prapitevasat
Nachamam tani karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya
Udasina vadasina asaktam teshu karmanu
Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam
Hetunanena kaunteya jagat vipari vartate
Avajananti mamuda manushim tanumashritam
Param bhava vajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram
Mogasha moga karmano moga jnana vichetasaha
Rakshasi masurim chaiva prakriti mohinim shitaha
Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashritah
Bhajantyanya manaso nyatva bhutadim avyayam
Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavratah
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate
Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate
Ekatvena pratakvena bahuda vishwatomukam
Aham kratur aham yajna swadaham aham aushadam
Mantroham vivajyam aham agiraham bhutam
Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamahah
Vedyam pavitram omkara riksha mayadurevacha
Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasa sharanam suhrut
Prabhava prayasthanam nidanam bijam avyayam
Tapamyaham aham varsham nigrunami utsrujami cha
Amritam chaiva mrityascha sadatsachaham arjuna
Traividyamam soma paputa papa Yajnairištva svargatim prartayante
Te punyamashadya surendra lokam ashtadhi divyan divideva bhogan
Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti
Evam traidharma manuprapanna gata gatam kama kama labante
Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate
Tesham nityaviyuktanam yogakshemam bhavyaham
Yepyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvitaah
Evyamameva kaunteya yajantya vidipupakam
Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha
Natumam abhijanati
tatvena taschayanti vidya
Yanti deva vrita devan pitrun yanti pitrun vrataah
Bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti maryajinopi mam
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati
Tadaham bhaktyupahritam ashrami prayatatmanah
Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhosi dadasi
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurushva madarpanam
Shubha shubha phalai विमुक्तिरेवं मोक्षसे कर्म बन्धनै
सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपश्यसि
समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः
ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम्
अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक्
साधुरेव समन्ताव्य सम्यक् व्यवस्थितो हि सा
क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति
कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि ममे भक्तः प्रणश्यति
मां हि पार्थाव्यपाश्रित्य एपिष्युपापयोनयः
स्त्रियो वैश्यसुता शूद्रस्तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम्
किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणा पुण्या भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा
अनित्यमसुखं लोकमिमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम्
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मध्याजी मां नमस्कुरु
मामेव वैश्यसि युक्तः आत्मना मत्परायणः.
Okay, that was chapter 9 in the matter of Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga, the most confidential knowledge. So Krishna gives the Charma Shloka in this chapter. Charma Shloka in any scripture, when you are reading any Shastra, Ramayana, Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita, there are Charma Shlokas, the concluding verses of that Shastra. So Bhagavad Gita has some Charma Shlokas, two such Charma Shlokas. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishvase yuktaivam atmanam matparayanaha 9.34, and Krishna repeats this shloka in 18th chapter, and there is the another Charma Shloka in 18th chapter, sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masuchaha. These are the two Charma Shlokas. So one such Charma Shloka we are seeing here, 9.34. Okay, next chapter, chapter 10. Now the time for getting the goosebumps is coming up. So everyone be ready. The Adbhutam Roma Harshana time is coming up. You know, hair standing on end is coming. Chapter 11 after this. Okay, everyone fasten your seat belts and okay, chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga, the opulences of the Absolute. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva Mahabaho Shruну me paramam vachaha
Yatteham priyamanaya vakshami hitakamaya
Name vidu suragana prabhavam nama harshayaha
Ahamadihi devana maharshinam cha sarvasaha
Yo mamajamanadim cha vetti loka maheshwaram
Asammudha samadhyeshu sarva papai pramuchyate
Buddhirjnanam asammoha क्षमा सत्यम दमा क्षमा
सुखं दुःखं भवो भावो भयं शयमेव च
अहिंसा समता तुष्टि तपोधानं यशो यशः
भवन्ति भावभूतानां मत्त एव प्रकृतिः
महर्षया सप्त पूर्वे चत्वारो मनवस्तदा
मद्भावा मनसा जाता येषां लोका इमां प्रजा
एतां विभूतिं योगं च मम यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
सोऽविकल्पेन योगेन युजन्ते नरसंशयः
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते
इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुद्धा बुद्धसंस्मादितः
मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं
कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च
तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं
ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते
तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः
नाशयामि आत्मभावस्तो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता
अर्जुन उवाच परं ब्रह्म परं धाम पवित्रं परमं भवान्
पुरुषं शाश्वतं दिव्यम् आदिदेवमजं विभुः
आहुस्त्वं ऋषया सर्वे देवर्षिर्नारदस्तथा
अस्थितो देवलो व्यासः स्वयं चैवाब्रवीषिणे
स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं वेत्तत्वं पुरुषोत्तमम्
न हि ते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवा न दानवाः.
Oh, did I miss something?
14.
Okay, 14. Yeah. सर्वमेतद्ऋतं मन्ये यन्मां वदसि केशव
नहिते भगवान् व्यक्तिं विदुर्देवा न दानवः
स्वयं एवात्मनात्मानं वेत्तत्वं पुरुषोत्तमम्
भूतभावन भूतेषु देवदेव जगत्पते
वक्तुमर्हस्य शेषेण दिव्या ह्यात्मा विभूतयः
याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां स्वां व्याप्य तिष्ठति
कथं विद्यान् अहं योगिं त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन्
केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्तयसि भगवान् मया
विस्तरेणात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन
भूयः कथया तृप्तिः शृण्वतो नास्ति मे मृतम्
श्रीभगवानुवाच हन्त ते कथयिष्यामि दिव्या ह्यात्मा विभूतयः
प्राधान्यतः कुरु श्रेष्ठा नास्त्यन्तो विस्तरस्य मे
अहमात्मा गुडाकेश सर्वभूतास्य स्थितः
अहमादिश्च मध्यं च भूतानामन्त एव च
आदित्यानाम् अहं विष्णुर्ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान्
मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि
वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानाम् अस्मि वासवः
इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना
रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां
वसूनां पावकाचास्मि मेरुः शिखरिणामहम्
पुरोदसां च मुख्यं च विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं
सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः
महर्षिणा भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम्
यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः
अश्वत्था सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः
गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माम् अमृतोद्भवम्
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
आयुधानाम् अहं वज्रं धेनूनाम् अस्मि कामधुक्
प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम्
पितॄणामार्यमाचास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालाकलयतामहम्
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेश्च सपाशिनम्
पवनः पवतामस्मि रामाशस्त्रभृतामहम्
मकरश्चास्मि स्रोतसामस्मि चाग्नवी
सागराणाम् आदिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाद्यमर्जुन
अध्यात्मविद्या विद्यानां वादप्रवर्ततामहम्
अक्षराणाम् अकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्व सामासिकस्य च
अहम् एवाक्षरो कालो दाताहं विस्तरोमुखः
मृत्युसर्वाहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम्
कीर्तिश्रीर्वाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिर्मेधा धृतिक्षमा
बृहत्सामा तथा साम्नान् गायत्री छन्दसामहम्
मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः
द्यूतं चलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहम्
जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्त्वं सत्त्वमतामहम्
ऋषीणां वासुदेवोऽस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जय
मुनीनामप्यहं व्यासः कवीनामुशना कविः
दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीत्सताम्
मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहम्
यच्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहमर्जुन
न तदस्ति विना यच्च मया भूतं चराचरम्
नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप
एष तुद्देष्टरो प्रोक्तो विभूतिर्विस्तरो मया
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा
तद्गच्छत्वं मम तेजोंसि सम्भवाम्
अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन
विस्तव्याहमिदं कृष्णम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत्.
Okay, that was chapter 10 in the matter of Vibhuti Yoga of Sri Krishna, opulences of the Absolute. So, in this chapter, Krishna says, I am the Supreme. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. You know, when Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, everything emanates from me, that is both in the spiritual world and material world. So, he is the cause of all causes and he does not have any cause. Sarva Karana Karanam. You know, Brahma Samhita says. And Krishna is declaring here, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the Supreme. Everything emanates from me. There are two shlokas. One in chapter 7, Mattaha Paradaram Nanyat. There is no truth superior than me. And here in this chapter, 10.8, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Everything emanates from me. Okay? So in this chapter, Krishna gives more details on his opulence, the Vibhuti, and how one can see Krishna in this material world. Whenever you see any greatest and mightiest thing, a powerful, beautiful thing, then you just remember that that potency is coming from Krishna. That potency for becoming stronger, that potency for becoming beautiful, that potency for becoming the world richest person comes from Krishna. It's a fraction of Krishna's potency. Okay. Now, chapter 11. Now, after hearing all these opulences or vibhuti from Krishna in chapter 7, some in 8, 9 and 10, now Krishna wants to see the proof. It's not because Arjuna wants to see the proof. It is not because Arjuna is doubting, but Arjuna is asking for our benefit. Arjuna has strong faith in Krishna, but he is asking on behalf of us. So Arjuna asks Krishna to show everything in one place. When Krishna said, with my fraction and with my single fraction, I pervade this entire world and maintain it. Now Arjuna asks, can you show that, Krishna? You said you can pervade and maintain with your single fraction. I want to see everything in the three worlds, in the three planetary systems. I want to see everything, including you and me. Can you show that? Now Krishna shows his Vishwarupa. That is chapter 11, Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga, the universal form. First Krishna shows the universal form, which is, you're all familiar with the Vishwarupa form, right? So many faces and many legs and many hands. And then Krishna shows his Kalarupa, the most fearful Kalarupa. Arjuna becomes very fearful after seeing that Kalarupa and asks Krishna, who are you? And he requests Krishna to withdraw that fearful form and show his Shamasundara form. Then Krishna withdraws that Kalarupa, that Bhayankara Kalarupa form, and shows his four-handed form first, and then the beautiful Shamasundara two-handed form. So this is the most beautiful chapter with the most beautiful melody, and this is where you can get your goosebumps. Adbhutam Roma Harshanam, as Sanjaya said. Hair standing on end. So check if you are wearing long sleeves, just pull your sleeves up and you check. Okay? Arjuna Uvacha Madanugrahaya Paramam Guhyam Adhyatma Sangitam
Yatyayogam Vachastena Mohoyam Vigato Mamaha
Bhavapyayau hi bhutanam Shrutau Vistarasho Maya
Tatvakamala Patraksha Mahatmapi Chadayam
Evametad yada tattvam Atmanam Parameshwara
Drashtumichhami te Rupam Aishwaram Purushottama
Manyase yadi tachakyam maya drashtum iti prabho
Yogeshwara tato me tvam darshayatmanamapyayam
Shri Bhagavanu vacha pashyame partha rupani shatasota sahasrashaha
Nana vidhani divyani Nana varna kritini cha
Pashyadityan vasum rudran ashvinau marutastadha
Bahuna drishta purvani Pasyasyaryaani bharataha
Ihaikastam jagat kritsnam pashyadya sacharacharam
Mama dehe gudakesha yachanya drashtumicchasi
Natumam shakyase drashtum anenaiva svachakshusa
Divyam dadami te chakshuhu Pashyame yogamaishwaram
Sanjaya uvacha eva muktva tato rajan mahayogeshwaro harihi
Darshayamasa parthaya paramam rupamaishwaram
Aneka vaktra nayanam anekadbhuta darshanam
Aneka divya bharanam divya niyakotadayudam
Divyamalyam baradaram divya gandhanulepanam
Sarvascharyamayam devam anantam vishwato mukham
Divisurya sahasrasya bhaved yugapaduttita
Yadi bhasahasrasya bhashtasya mahatmanah
Tatraikastam jagat kritsnam pravibhaktam anekada
Apasyatyesha devasya sarire pandavasthada
Tatasa vishmaya vishto hrishtaro Dhananjaya
Pranamya sirasa devam kritanjaliribhashata
Arjuna uvacha. Okay, now give the mic to Premachandrika. Okay, you have to keep the mic closer and sing. Okay? All other mics you put down, please. This is a very melodious one and she sings very beautifully. Arjuna uvacha pashyami devam stava deva dehe. No, the next two lines, okay? पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तदा भूतविशेषसङ्गान्
ब्रह्माणमीशं कमलासनस्थं ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान्
अनेकबहूदरवक्त्रनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपम्
नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूपा
किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तं
पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्ता दीप्तानलर्काद्युतिमप्रमेयम्
त्वमक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यं त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निदानम्
त्वमव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगुप्ता सनातनस्वं पुरुषो मतो मे
अनादिमध्यान्तमनन्तवीर्यम् अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रं
पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुताशवक्त्रं स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तपन्तम्
द्वावा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैपाकेन दिशश्च सर्वा
दृष्ट्याद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवें लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मा
अमीहि त्वां सुरसङ्गा विशन्ति केचिद्भीता प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति
स्वस्तिक्त्युक्त्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्घा स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः
रुद्रादित्या वसवो ये च साध्या विश्वेश्विनौ मरुतश्चोष्ममाश्च
गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्घा वीक्षन्ते त्वां विष्णुश्च
रूपं महत्ते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रं महाबाहो बहुबाहुदरपादम्
बहूदरं बहुदंष्ट्राकराळं दृष्ट्वा लोका प्रव्यदितास्तरहम्
नभास्पृशं दीप्तमनेकवर्णं व्याप्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रं
दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यदितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि शमं च विष्णु
द्रंष्ट्राकरालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि
दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्मा प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवासा
अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सह वैवानिपालसङ्गा
भीष्मो द्रोणः सूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहस्मदीयोरपि योधमुख्यै
वक्त्राणि ते तरमाना विशन्ति दंष्ट्राकरालानि भयानकानि
केचिद्विलग्ना दशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः
यथा नदीनं बहवोऽम्बुवेगा समुद्रमेवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति
तथा तवामि नरलोकवीरा विशन्ति वक्त्र्याणभिविज्वलन्ति
यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतङ्गा विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगाः
तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोका तवापि वक्त्राणि समृद्धवेगाः
लेलीह्यसे ग्रसमाना समन्ताल् लोकान् समग्रान् वदनैर्ज्वलब्धिः
तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रं भास्यस्व उग्रा प्रतपन्ति विष्णु
आख्याहि मे को भवनुग्ररूपो नमोऽस्तु ते देववरा प्रसीद
विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्
श्रीभगवानुवाच कालोऽस्मि लोकाक्षयकृत् प्रवृद्धो लोकान् समाहर्तुमिह प्रवृत्तः
ऋतेऽपि त्वां न भविष्यन्ति सर्वे योऽवस्थिता प्रत्यनीकेषु योधः
तस्मात् त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रुं भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम्
मयैव ते निहता पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रं भव्यसव्यसाचिन्
द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णं तथान्यान् अपि योद्धवीरान्
मया हतास्त्वं जहिमा वृधिष्ठा युध्यस्व चेतासि रणे सपत्नान्
सञ्जय उवाच एतत् श्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमाना किरीटी
नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सदद्गदं भीतः प्रणम्य
अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने हृषीकेश तव प्रकीर्त्या जगत् प्रहर्ष्यतनुरज्यते च
रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्घाः
कस्माच्च तेनानमिरन् महात्मान् गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽप्याधिकर्ते
अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं सततत्तत्परं यत्
त्वमादिदेवा पुरुषा पुराणास्त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निदानम्
वेत्तासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरूप
वायुर्यमोऽग्निर्वरुणा शशाङ्का प्रजापतिस्त्वां प्रपितामहश्च
नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहस्रकृत्वः पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते
नमः पुरस्तात् अथ प्रश्रुतस्ते नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वत एव सर्वा
अनन्तवीर्यामितविक्रमस्त्वं सर्वं समाप्नोषि ततोऽसि सर्वः
सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति
अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि
यच्चावहासार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यास भोजनेषु
एकोऽथव्यप्यच्युतमत्समक्षं तत्क्षामयेतामहम् अप्रमेयम्
पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरून् गरीयान्
न स्वमोऽस्वभ्यदितः कुतोऽन्तो लोकत्रयोऽप्यप्रतिमा प्रभाव
तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायं प्रसादये त्वाम् अहमीशमीड्यम्
पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्युः प्रियः प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम्
अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यतितं मनो मे
तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास
किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रहस्तम् इच्छामि त्वां द्रष्टुमहं तदैव
तेनैव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते
श्रीभगवानुवाच मया प्रसन्नेन तवार्जुनेदं रूपं परं दर्शितुमात्मयोगात्
तेजोमयं विश्वमनन्तमाद्यं यन्मे त्वदन्येन ददृष्टपूर्वम्
न वेदयज्ञानभिनैर्न दानैर्न च क्रियाभिर्न तपोभिरुग्रैः
एवं रूपः शक्यहं नृलोके द्रष्टुं त्वदैन्येन कुरु प्रवीर
मा ते व्यथा मा च विमूढभावो दृष्ट्वा रूपं घोरमीद्रुं समेदं ममेदम्
व्यपेतिभ्यां प्रतमाना पुनः स्वं तदेव मे रूपमिदं प्रवश्य
सञ्जय उवाच इत्यर्जुनं वासुदेवस्ततोक्त्वा स्वकं रूपं दर्शयमाश भूयः
आश्वासयामास च भीतमेनं भूत्वा पुनः सौम्य पुरुरात्महात्मा
अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेवं मानुषं रूपं तव सौम्यं जनार्दन
इदानीमस्मि संवृत्तः सचेता प्रकृतिं गतः
श्रीभगवानुवाच सुदुर्दर्शम् इदं रूपं दृष्टवान् असि यन्मम
देवाप्यस्य रूपस्य नित्यं दर्शनकाङ्क्षिणः
नाहं वेदैर्न तपसा न दानेन न चेज्यया
शक्य एव विदं द्रष्टुवानसि मां यथा
भक्त्या त्वनन्यया शक्या अहम् एवं विदोऽर्जुन
ज्ञातु द्रष्टुं तत्त्वेनं प्रवेष्टुं च परन्तपा
मत्कर्म कृन्मत्परमो मद्भक्ता सङ्गवर्जितः
निर्वैर्व सर्वभूतेषु यत्समामेति पाण्डवा.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 11, Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Okay, hope you all got goosebumps. Okay, Ashok is nodding his head. I'm also nodding my head. Adbhutam Roma Harshanam, as Sanjay described. Okay, Chaitanya Sundar also confirmed. Okay, chapter 12. Okay, 1 second.
I don't know actually.
Hare Krishna. Those who joined just now, we have Bhagavad Gita sets there for a donation. You can get a box of 16 Bhagavad Gitas. One set costs you $108. Today we are giving it 108. It normally costs $240. Please take one, sponsor one set. You can take it for yourself or your friends and family. And this is a very auspicious day today. So please sponsor one Bhagavad Gita set there at the entrance. Hare Krishna.
Okay, now chapter 12. Chapter 12, Devotional Service, Bhakti Yoga. This is a very sweet and short chapter, 20 verses. Krishna explains about Bhakti Yoga. So he describes the different stages in Bhakti Yoga in the descending order of importance. So he starts with the highest stage, where Krishna says, just focus your mind on me, always think of me. If you are not able to do that, then at least work for me. If you are not able to do that, then you sacrifice results of your work. If you are not able to do that, then at least cultivate knowledge. So like that, Krishna gives different options. Just like how parents, right? When children don't want to do something, or they don't want to eat food properly in the early childhood, we'll say, the parents will say, at least eat this much. At least eat this 1 bite or 2 bites. Okay, this is mama's bite and this is atta's bite. So you give different excuses and feed them. So just like how a parent is so kind to the children and gives different options. Do this first. If you're not able to do this, okay, at least do this. So like that, Krishna gives different options for people to progress on the path of Bhakti Yoga. So actually going back to chapter 11 before this, right? Chapter 11 is so important. We still have another 1 hour, so we can finish before that. So in chapter 11, even though it might sound like very scary or gigantic, Krishna might show his the greatest the form, universal form, which is very gigantic, where Arjuna was able to see all the 3 planetary systems, including Krishna and Arjuna. It might sound very how do I say, very gigantic, powerful, you might respond with awe and reverence. Okay, but there are some shlokas in that chapter where Krishna shows his sweetness. Now looking at his gigantic universal form, one may think that Krishna is very great. But in the same chapter, Krishna shows his sweetness. There is a shloka where he says, Dronam cha bhishmam cha Jayadratam cha karnam stadhanyan api yodhaviran. Krishna says, I have killed all these people on the other side, including Drona, Bhishma, and so on. Now you simply fight or act as if you are fighting and take the credit. I have already killed all the people. Okay? Because Arjuna's situation was he doesn't want to fight. But when a child opposes to do what a parent asks to do, what does the parent do? No, I'm sorry. So let's say there is a humongous task in front of the child, and child is not capable. Child is trying, his best to do that, but the child is not able to accomplish that. Then the parent, let's say you imagine a huge rock, and the child is trying to pull that huge rock, but child is not able to do, with his ability he is not able to do that. Now the parent goes behind the child, behind the rock, and the child is not noticing, and he pushes. The parent pushes that huge rock, and the child thinks that, oh, I'm able to do it now. And the parent is okay if the child takes credit for that. And that's what the parent wants. Parent doesn't want any credit. That's exactly Krishna is doing here in that verse, Dronam cha Bhishma. Before that, he said, Kalos me. I am time. I'm a time factor which is forcing on everyone. And in the next verse he says, he shows his sweetness. He shows his greatness, how powerful, how gigantic he is. And in the next verse, he shows how sweet he is, like a parent to a child. He says, I have killed all these people already. You just get up, become an instrument, fight, and take the credit. Okay? And that is the instruction from Krishna to all of us. Whatever we are in, in today's life, whatever occupational duty we are in, we should dovetail that towards Krishna's service. And we just become Krishna's instrument and do whatever is needed. Okay? So with that sweetness shown in chapter 11, Krishna continues that sweetness in chapter 12, where he gives different options to different people to progress on the Bhakti Yoga. He's not giving one path and saying that just surrender to me, you focus your mind upon me and worship me all the time. There is no other way. He's not saying that. He's not a dictator. He's the most lovable person. He's a person like us. He's the most lovable person. He's giving different options to us. Okay? Out of his sweetness. Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate.
Echapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha.
Shri Bhagavan uvacha mayyavesha mano evam nitya yukta upasate.
Shraddhaya parayopeta steme yukta tamamataha.
Etvaksharam anirdesham avyaktam paryupasate.
Sarvatra gama chintyam cha kuta samachalam dhruvam.
Sanniyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha.
Te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha.
Kleshodikatarastesham avyaktakshata te chetasam.
Avyakta hi gatir dukkam dehavatiravapyate.
Etu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha.
Ananyena iva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate.
Teshamaham samuddharta mrityu samsara sagarat.
Bhavami nachirat pata maya veshita chetasam.
Mayyeva mana adastva mai buddhim niveshaya.
Nivashishyasi mayeva ata udvam na samshayaha.
Ata chittam samadattum na shaknosi mai stiram.
Abhyasa yogena tato mamicchaptum dhananjaya.
Abhyasepi asamartosi matkarma paramo bhava.
Madartam api karmani kurvan siddhim avapsyasi.
Ataitat अतैतद् अपि असक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं तथा कुरु यतात्मवान्
श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाद् विशिष्यते
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्त्यागक्षान्तिरनन्तरम्
अद्वेष्ट सर्वभूतानां मैत्रकरुणा एव च
निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी
सन्तुष्ट सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः
मय्यार्पिता मनो बुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः
यस्मान्नोद्विजते लोको लोकान्नोद्विजते च यः
हर्षमर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः
अनपेक्षा सुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गताव्यतः
सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः
यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचयति न काङ्क्षति
शुभ परित्यागी भक्तिमान्य स मे प्रियः
समौ शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः
शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समासङ्गो विवर्जितः
तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनिर्सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित्
अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः
ये तु धर्मामृतम् इदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते
शतदाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतिव मे प्रिया.
Okay, that was chapter 12. Sweet and short, 20 verses. It's easy to memorize such a short chapter. Okay, so there is somebody who memorized. Swati, is she here? Okay, she's there. She's hiding. Why is she hiding? Okay, it's her favorite chapter. She memorized it. Like that, you can pick one chapter from Bhagavad Gita and develop favoritism to it. How do you develop favoritism? You understand the meanings of the shlokas and you repeat the shlokas 1,000 times, 200 times, 200,000 times like that, and you will memorize and it will become your favorite chapter. Okay? Now, this is the end of the middle section of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga. So, first karma, bhakti, and then jnana. So, if bhakti is the most important and most highest thing, so technically Bhagavad Gita should have ended at chapter 12. But we have 6 more chapters. So why karma, why jnana yoga, why Krishna taught jnana yoga after bhakti yoga? Anyone? Mike.
Krishna realizes that we still have to live in this material world. So how do we operate and continue to live in this material world while performing our devotional service? So in order for that, we need to understand how this world operates and what choices we have to make. So what are the 3 modes and how they operate on us, so that we are knowledgeable about choices we make, so that we can perform our devotional service to the best of our abilities without getting distracted.
Wonderful, Prabhu. So, when we are performing bhakti, there can be 2 obstacles. One is from inside and one is from outside. So, what can be the obstacle from within or from inside? Can anybody tell from the ladies' side? Obstacle on the path of bhakti yoga from inside. Yes, Sanskriti.
Laziness.
Ego. Okay. Ego, laziness, and what else? Envy. Okay. Material desires. You're close. You're close to the answer. You're 50% or 90% close to the answer that I'm looking for. Pride, okay. Anything else? Lust, okay. Lust, pride, envy, all these things. What's your name, Prabhu? Vijay, okay. So Vijay got the closest thing that I'm looking for. It's our enjoying propensity. He said our desires are unlimited. Our desires to enjoy are unlimited. It's the enjoying propensity. Okay, that is an obstacle from within, from inside. So this chapter title is Nature, Enjoyer and Consciousness. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. So here the enjoyer is actually Krishna. We are Prakriti. Krishna is the enjoyer and we are Prakriti. But we think we are the enjoyers and we develop unlimited number of desires and we keep getting entangled in this material world. But the moment we realize that Krishna is the enjoyer and we are only Prakriti. Prakriti means to be enjoyed. Something that is to be enjoyed. Krishna is Purush and we are Prakriti. We are female. Technically everyone is female. Only Krishna is male, everyone else is female. Even the male are also female. Okay, so nature, enjoyer and consciousness. So our enjoying propensity is an obstacle. So Krishna tells how to overcome that obstacle. You know, as Chaitanya Sundar said, we have to live in this material world. That's why we need to have some proper knowledge how to live in this material world and how to get out of this material world. How to live in the world and how to get out of the world. Modern science only teaches how to live in the world comfortably, happily. But the goal is to get out of the material world. Okay, chapter 13. Arjuna uvacha prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetrajnam cha.
Etad vedutamicchami jnanam jneyam cha kesava.
Shri Bhagavan uvacha idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidiyate.
Etad yo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajna iti tadvidah.
Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Kshetrajna yo jnanam yattajnanam matam mama.
Takshetram yaccha yadrikcha yadvikari yatascha yat.
Tachayo yat prabhavascha tassamasena me shrunu.
Rishibir bahuda gitam chandobhir vivida pratak.
Brahma sutra padashaiva hetumadbhir vinichitah.
Mahabhutanya hankaro buddhir avyaktameva cha.
Indriyani dasaikam cha panchachendriya gochara.
Ichchadvesha sukham dukkham sangasta Sangataschetana dritihi.
Etat kshetram samasena savikaram udavritam.
Amanitvam adhambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam.
Acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atmavinigraha.
Indriyarteshu vairagyam anahankara eva cha.
Janma mritya jara vyadhi dukkha dosanudarshanam.
Asaktir anabhishvangaha putradhara grihadishu.
Nityam cha samachittatvam ishto nishtopapattishu.
Maichananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini.
Viviktadesha sevitvam aratirjana samsadi.
Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam.
Etat jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yatadonyata.
Nyeyam yattat pravakshami yajñatvamritamashnute.
Anadimat param brahma nasattan nasatuchyate.
Sarvata panipadam tat sarvatokshiro mukam.
Sarvatastuti malloke sarvamavritya tishtati.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Ashaktam sarvavriksaiva nirgunam gunabhokracha.
Bahirantascha bhutanam acharam charameva cha.
Sushmamattatadajneyam durastam chantike chatat.
Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam iva cha stitam.
Bhutabhadra cha tetneyam drashnishu pravavishnu cha.
Jyotisham api tajjoti tamasa paramuchyate.
Jnanam nyeyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtutam.
Iti kshetram tata jnanam jneyam choktam samasataha.
Madbhakta etadvijñāya madbhāvayopadathyate.
Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi.
Vikaram cha gunam chaiva vidhi prakriti sambhavan.
Karyakarana kartrutve hetu prakriti ruchyate.
Purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktrutve hetu ruchyate.
Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jangunan.
Karanam guna sangosya sadasatyo janmashu.
Upadrashtanu manta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha.
Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha para.
Yayevam veti purusham prakritim cha gunaisha.
Sarvata vartamanopi nasa bhuyo vijayate.
Jyayenatmani pashyanti kechidatmanam
Anye sankhena yogena karma yogena chapare.
Anyetvevam ajananta श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते
तेऽपि च तीतरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणः
यावत् सञ्जायते किञ्चित् सत्त्वं स्थावरजङ्गमम्
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञसंयोगात् तद्विधि भरतर्षभ
समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरम्
पश्यति स पश्यति
समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समवस्थितमीश्वरम्
अहिनस्थितात्मनात्मानं ततो याति परं गतिम्
प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः
यः पश्यति तदात्मानम्
अकर्तारं स पश्यति
यदा भूता पृथग्भावम् एकस्थम् अनुपश्यति
तदा एव विस्तारं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा
अनादित्वात् निर्गुणत्वात् परमात्मायम् अव्ययः
शरीरस्थोऽपि कौन्तेय न करोति न लिप्यते
यथा सर्वगतं सौक्ष्यात् आकाशं नोपलिप्यते
सर्वत्र वस्तुतो देहे तथात्मानोपलिप्यते
यथा प्रकाशयत्येक कृष्णं लोकम् इमं रविः
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृष्णं प्रकाशयति भारत
क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोरेवम् अन्तरं ज्ञानचक्षुषा
भूतप्रकृतिमोक्षं च ये विदुर्यन्ति ते परम्.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 13. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Nature, enjoyer and consciousness. So in that chapter, Krishna also tells about the super soul. In chapter 2, we heard about the soul. And after a long gap, in chapter 13, Krishna tells about the super soul. Sarvata Panipadam Tat Sarvato Kshiro Mukham. How my hands and legs are, pervading everywhere in this material world. Okay, so chapter 13 talks about the obstacle from inside, that is our enjoying propensity. Now chapter 14, this is the obstacle from outside. This is the obstacle from outside when somebody is practicing bhakti yoga. When they are on their path practicing bhakti yoga, obstacle can come from outside in the form of maya, or the three modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So Krishna tells how to overcome these three modes and transcend. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam
Yajñātva munayas sarve param siddhim ito gataha
Idam Jnanam Upashritya Mama Sadharmyamagataha
Sarvepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanti ca
Mama yonirmahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham
Sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata
Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiyaha
Asam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapitaha
Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha
Nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam
Tatra sattvam निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकमनामयम्
सुखसंगेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसंगेन चानघ
रजोरागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णखङ्गासमुद्भवम्
तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसंगेन देहिनाम्
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनाम्
प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत
सत्त्वं सुखे सञ्जायति रजा कर्माणि भारत
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः प्रमादे सञ्चयात्युता
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्त्वं भवति भारत
रजसत्त्वं तमश्चैव तमसत्त्वं रजस्तथा
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते
ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्याद् विवृतं सत्त्वमित्युता
लोभप्रवृत्तिरारम्भ कर्मणाम् असमापृत्स्पृहा
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च
तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
रजसी प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गीषु जायते
तथा प्रणेनास्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते
कर्मणा सुकृतस्यायुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्
रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम् अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
सत्त्वात् संजायते ज्ञानं रजसो लोभ एव च
प्रमादमोहौ तमसो
भवतो ज्ञानमेव च
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ता मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसा
जगन्या गुणवृत्तिस्ता अधो गच्छन्ति तामसा
नान्यं गुणेभ्य कर्तारं यदा दृष्टानुपश्यति
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति
गुणानेतान् अतीत्यत्रीन् देहि देहा समुद्भवान्
जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखे विमुक्तो मृत्युमश्नुते
अर्जुन उवाच कैर्लिङ्गैस्त्रीन् गुणानेतान् अतीतो भवति प्रभो
किमाचरा कथं चैतां स्त्रीन् गुणान् अतिवर्तते
श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेवाच पाण्डव
न दृष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न वृत्तानि काङ्क्षति
उदासीनवदासीनो गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते
गुणा वर्तन्त इत्येवं योगति सत्ति
समदुःखा सुखा स्वस्था समलोष्टास्म काञ्चन
तुल्य प्रिया प्रियो धीरः तुल्य निन्दात्म संस्तुति
मानापमानयोस्तुल्यस्तुल्यो मित्रारि प्रकाशयोः
सर्वरम्भ परित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते
मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते
सगुणान् समतीत्यतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते
ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च
शाश्वतस्य धर्मस्य सुखसैकान्तिकस्य च.
Okay, that was chapter 14. Obstacle from outside in the form of Maya are the three modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Krishna teaches how to transcend these three modes and get onto the platform for bhakti. Now chapter 15 is also another beautiful chapter, sweet and short. 15 chapter, 20 verses. The yoga of the Supreme Person, Purushottama Yoga. So when we are practicing bhakti, we get doubts, and Vedas describe that three things should always be killed immediately: a snake, fire, and a doubt. Enemy also, actually, 4: snake, fire, doubt, and enemy should be immediately killed. So when we are getting doubts on the path of, when we are progressing on the path of bhakti yoga, we should ask questions. We should ask questions and get clarified. So Krishna tells in this chapter, 15th chapter, Purushottam Yoga, Asanga shastrena drudena chitva. Cut your weapon, cut your serpent of doubt with the sword of weapon, and progress to higher planetary systems. Krishna compares this material world with an upside down banyan tree with roots upside and branches downward. If we cultivate good qualities, if we cultivate, if you are in the good mode of goodness, then you progress towards the higher planetary systems, that is to the roots. On the other side, if you cultivate bad habits or bad qualities, you downgrade or degrade, go to the Patala Loka, to the branches. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Urdhvamulam Adashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam
Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavir
Adhaschordhvam prashutastasya shaka guna pravruddha vishaya pravala
Adasya mulani anushantakani karmanubandhini manushya loke
Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nacha sampratishta
Ashwatthamenam suviruyamulam ashanga shastrena dridena chitva
Tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivritanti bhuyaha
Tameyam charyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prashita purani
Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha
Dvandvairvimukta sukha dukkha samye gacchantya-mula padamavyayam tat
Natad vasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha
Yadgatva nahi nivartante tadhama paramam mama
ममैवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातनः
मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति
शरीरं यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रमतीश्वरः
विद्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि आश्रयात्
श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च
अधिष्ठायां मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते
क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं
विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं
यतन्त्योऽप्यकृतात्मानो नयनं पश्यन्त्यशेषसा
यदादित्यागतं तेजो जगद्भाषयतेऽखिलं
यच्चन्द्रमासि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विधिमामकम्
गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम् अहमोजसा
पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वा सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः
अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः
प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च
वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्
द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरक्षाक्षर एव च
क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते
उत्तमा पुरुषस्त्वन्या परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः
यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्त्यव्यय ईश्वरः
यस्माक्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरात् अपि चोत्तमः
अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः
यो मामेवमसम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमम्
स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत
इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्तं मया नघ
एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So 15.15 is a very beautiful verse. Sunil Prabhu, bring up 15.15, the translation. And Shrestha, you read the translation. Recite the verse first and translation. 15.15. Yeah.
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम्.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
So Krishna is telling all the Vedas come from him, and from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. If we have to remember Krishna, Krishna has to give that ability. If we have to forget Krishna, Krishna has to give that ability. And by all Vedas, I am to be known. He is the goal. He is the goal of all the Vedas. He is the compiler of the Vedas, and he is the goal of the Vedas. He is the knower of the Vedas, and he is to be known. With all these Vedas, he is to be known. Krishna is saying that. Krishna is like peeling the banana and just putting in your mouth. He's telling everything. Vedas come from me. I am the compiler of the Vedas. You know, with Vedas, you know me. I am the end goal. He's selling everything. Now we just have to eat it. Okay? So, this is a beautiful verse. Another beautiful verse in this chapter where Krishna says how he supplies juice to the fruits and vegetables. Gama Vishyacha Bhutani. That verse. How he maintains all the planets by pervading in them, and then how he supplies juice to the fruits and vegetables. The moon actually supplies fruit and supplies juice to the fruits and vegetables. So the moon and sun are two eyes of Krishna. Okay, so Krishna, one eye of Krishna is watching you in the daytime, and one eye of Krishna is watching you in the night, and from within he is watching you all the time. Okay, as Paramatma inside, he is watching you all the time. Okay, now chapter 16. So when we are progressing on the Bhakti Yoga, so we need to measure how we are progressing, whether we are moving forward or not. Okay, as they say, if we are not moving forward, we are only going backward. So we need to measure our progress on the Bhakti Yoga, our journey on Bhakti Yoga. We need to measure that. Chapter 16 helps us do that measurement. Krishna, the chapter is titled as Divine and Demoniac Natures, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Krishna tells about divine qualities first, and then a very detailed discussion on demoniac qualities. So the divine and demoniac qualities, actually, they all reside within this body. In the same place, you have divine and demoniac qualities. In different yugas, the situation was different. In Satya Yuga, divine and demoniac qualities, they are in different planets. Hiranyakashipu and Prahlada and Hiranyakashipu. And then one yuga later, Treta Yuga, same planet but different country, Ayodhya and Lanka. And one yuga later, Dwapar Yuga, same country but different cities, Kamsa in Mathura and Krishna in Vrindavana or Dwaraka. And one yuga later, Kali Yuga, they are in the same city. They are in the same city. Divine and demoniac people or divine demonic qualities, they are in the same city. This city of 9 gates called body. Navadvare Pure Dehe, there is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita. So in this city of 9 gates, both divine and demoniac qualities reside. So Krishna tells how to introspect and see how we are progressing. Are we developing demoniac qualities or divine qualities? How we are progressing on the path of Bhakti Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi Ahimsa Sattva Makrodas Tyaga Shanairup Tyaga Shantir Apaishunam
Daya Bhutesha Lopam Madhavam Vitachapalam
Tejakshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita
Bhavanti Sampadam Dairim Abhijatasya Bharata
Dambho Darpo Vimanascha Krodha Paurishyameva
Ajnanam Cha Vijatasya Pata Sampadam Ashuri
Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya Nabandaya Nibandaya Surimata
Masucha Sampadam Dairim Abhijatosi Pandava
Dvaubhuta Sargau Lokesmin Daivasura Evacha
Daiva Vishtarasha Prokta Asuram Patameshinu
Pravrittim Cha Nivrittim Cha Janana Vidurasuraha
Nashacham Napichachara Nasatyam Teshu Vidyate
Asatyam Apratishtam Te Jagadahur Anishwaram
Aparaspa Sambutam Kimanyat Kama Haitukam
Etam Drishtimavastabhya Nashtatmanolpa Buddhayaha
Prabhavantyukra Karmana Kshayaya Jagato Hita
Kamamashritya Dushpuram Dambamana Mamadanvitaha
Mohat Gruhitva Sadvahan
Pravatanteshu Chivrata
Chintam Aparimeyam Cha Pralayantam Upashritaha
Kamapopaga Parama Etavad Iti Nishita
Ashapasha Shatairbadda Kama Krodha Parayanaha
Ihante Kama Bhogatam Anyayenat Sanchaya
Idamadya Maya Labdam Imam Prapse Manoratham
Idam Astidamapi Me Bhavishyati Punardanam
Asau Maya Hata Shatrur Hanisye Chaparannapi
Ishvaroham Bhogi Siddhoham Balavan Sukhi
Adyobi Janavanasmi Konyosti Sadrusho Maya
Yakshe Dasyami Bodhisya Nityajna Vimohita
Aneka Chitta Vibranta Mohajala Samavritaha
Prasakta Kama Bhogeshu Patanti Narakesu Cha
Atma Sambhavita Stabda Danamana Madanvitaha
Yajante Nama Yajnaste Dambina Vidhi Purvakam
Ahankaram Balam Darpam Kamam Krodam Cha Samshritaha
Mamatma Paradeshu Pradivishat
Tanaham Vishata Kuran तानहं द्विषता कुर्वान् समाश्रेषु नरादमान् आसुरीं योनिमापन्ना मूढजन्मनि जन्मनि
माम प्राप्यैव कौन्तेय ततो यान्त्यधमां गतिम्
त्रिविधं नरकस्येदं द्वारं नाशनमात्मनः
कामक्रोधस्तथा लोभस्तस्मादेतत्त्रयं त्यजेत्
एतैर्विमुक्त कौन्तेय तमोद्वारैस्त्रिभिर्नरः
आचार्यत्यात्मनिश्चयस्ततो याति पदं गतिम्
यशास्त्रविद्धिमुत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः
न स सिद्धिमवाप्नोति न सुखं न परां गतिम्
तस्मात् शास्त्रं प्रमाणं ते कार्यकार्याव्यवस्थितौ
ज्ञातशास्त्रविधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुमिहार्हसि.
Okay, that was the end of chapter 16 in the matter of Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, divine and demoniac qualities. Next, the last two chapters, chapter 17, the divisions of faith, Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. In this chapter, Krishna explains how a person's faith can be different based on the three modes. How faith is in the mode of goodness, how faith is in the mode of passion, how a person's faith is in the mode of ignorance. He also describes how different austerities, sacrifices, charities and so on, how all these activities are different in the three modes. And Krishna tells in the end, whatever you do in these three modes is contaminated. Even in the mode of goodness, if you do anything, it is also contaminated. The goal is to transcend these three modes. And Krishna also tells in this chapter, Om Tat Sat Iti Nirdesho, there is a shloka where Krishna says, you offer everything to me, then it becomes purified. Any activity you perform in these three modes, mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, it is contaminated. And the only way to purify that is Om Tat Sat Iti. You offer the work and the results to Krishna. Then that activity is purified. Arjuna uvacha ye shastra viddhimutsrijya yajante shraddhayanvitaha
Tesham nishtatuka Krishna sattvamohorajastama
Shri Bhagavan uvacha trividha bhavati shraddha dehinam sa swabhavaja
Satviki rajasi chaiva tamasi chetitam shino
Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata
Shraddhamayam purusho yochachatasa eva sa
Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasaha
Pretan bhuta ganachanye yajante tamasa jana
Ashastra vihitam goram tapyante ye tapojanaha
Dambahangara samyukta kamaraga balanvitaha
Karshayanta sharirastam bhutagramam achetasaha
Mam chaivanta sharirastam tan vidyasuro nisham
Aharastvapi sarvasya trivido bhavati priyaha
Yajnastapastadadanam tesham vedam imam shriya
Ayusattva balarogya sukha priti vivardanaha
Yasya snigdha dasitavidya ahara satvika priyaha
Katvamala lavanatyushnat तीक्ष्ण रूक्षा विदाहिनः
आहाराजसयस्ता दुःख शोकमया प्रदा
यातयामं गतरसं पूतिपर्युषितां च यत्
उचिस्तमपि चामेर्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम्
अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञो विद्दिदिष्टो यभिज्यते
यश्चमेवति मनः समाधाय सात्विकः
अभिसन्धाय तु फलं दम्भार्धम् अपि चैव यत् विद्धिहीनम् अश्रुष्टान्नं मन्त्रहीनम् अदक्षिणम्
श्रद्धविरहितं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते
देवद्विजा गुरुप्रज्ञा पूजनं शौचमार्जवम्
ब्रह्मचर्यमहिंसा च शरीरं तप उच्यते
अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत्
स्वाध्यायाभ्यासनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते
मनःप्रसादसंयत्वं मौनमात्मा विनिग्रहः
भावसंसिद्धिरित्येतत् तपोमानसमुच्यते
श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत् त्रिविधं नरैः
अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तः सात्विकं परिचाक्षते
सत्कारमनपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत्
क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसञ्चलमध्रुवम्
मूढग्राहेणात्मनो यत् पीडया क्रियते तपः
परसोत्य तत्तमासमुदारितं
दातव्यम् इति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे
देशकाले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतं
यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः
दीयते च परिक्षिष्टं तद्दानं राजसं स्मृतम्
अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अप्रतेभ्यश्च दीयते
असत्कृतम् अवज्ञातं तत्तमासमुदारितम्
ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशो भ्रमणस्त्रिविधा स्मृतः
ब्राह्मणस्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञश्च विहितः पुरा
तस्मादोमित्युदाहृत्य यज्ञदानातपाक्रियः
प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ता सततं ब्रह्मवादिनां
तदित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञातपक्रियः
दानक्रियाश्च विहिताः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः
सद्भावे साधुभावे च सद् इत्येतत् प्रयुज्यते
प्रशस्ते कर्माणि सच्चब्दपातयुज्यते
यज्ञे तपसि दाने च स्थितिः सद् इत्योच्यते
कर्म चैव तदातीयं सदित्येवाभिधीयते
अश्रद्धया हुतं दत्तं तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत्
असत् इत्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह.
Okay, that was chapter 17, divisions of faith. So Arjuna actually asks, he begins this chapter by asking a question: what is better? Is a worship of impersonal form better or worship of personal form better? There are impersonalists and personalists. So to clarify that doubt, Arjuna is asking for our benefit, and Krishna very clearly says the worship of personal form is the best. And there is also a shloka about austerity of speech, austerity of mind, body and speech. Damodar Prasad Prabhu, you want to speak a little bit on that? Austerity of speech. Okay. Okay, now before we begin the grand finale, chapter 18, some kirtan. Okay, also this is the last chapter, chapter 18. If anyone has not participated in the Gita Mahayagya, please come forward and sit here. You can offer the oblations, the grains and other Havan Samagri.
This is the last chapter also. You can take turns. Every couple of 10-15 verses, people can switch over if there are more people. You have wireless mic that side, please give it to Mataji.
रुक्मिणीकेळिसंयुक्तं पीताम्बरशुशोभितम् अवाप्य तुलसीगन्धं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
Okay, now the grand finale. Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Conclusion, the perfection of renunciation, chapter 18. So in this chapter, Krishna again summarizes the entire Bhagavad Gita, and in the end he tells, just ignore whatever I have mentioned so far and just surrender unto me. So sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Abandon all varieties of religion, even the so-called dharma on the bodily platform, even the so-called dharma also, you reject it, you abandon it and just surrender to me. You do whatever I instruct. So this is a very beautiful chapter. After hearing entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, Krishna, I'll do whatever you want now. Karishe vachanam tava. I'll do whatever you want. Last chapter, 10 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamiccami veditum
Tyagasya cha Rishikesha Pritakeshena Shudana
Shri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sannyasam kavayo viduho
Sarva karma phalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshana
Tyajam doshapadityeke karma prahurmanishinaha
Yajnadana tapakarma tatyajam iti
Nishchayam shunu me tatra tyage bharata sattama
Tyago hi purusha vyagra trividha samprakriti
Yajnadana tapa karma natyajam karyameva tat
Yajnadanam tapaschaiva pavanami manishinam
Etanyapi tu karmani sangam tyaktva phalani cha
Kartavyatmi me pata nishitam matamuttamam
Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmano nopapadyate
Mohatasya parityagastamasa prakritirtita
Dukkamityeva yat karma kaya klesha bhayatyajet
Sakritva rajasam tyagam naiva tyaga phalam labhet
Karyamityeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna
Sangam tyaktva phalam chaiva satyaga satviko matah
Dveshta kushalam karma kushalena
Tyagi sattva samavishto medhavi chinna samshaya
Nahi deha prita shakyam tyaktam karmanya sheshataha
Yastu karma phalatyagi satyagityavidayate
Ishtam mishram cha trividam karmana phalam
Bhavatyatyagi pretya natu sannyasinam kuchit
Panchaitani mahabaho karanani nibodame
Sankhye ketane proktani siddhaye sarvakarmana
Adhishtanam tada karta karanam cha pridakvidam
Vividhascha pritakchesta daivam chaiva tapanchamam
Shariravan manobhiryat karma prarabhate naraha
Nyayam va viparitam va panchate tasya hetavah
Tatraivam sati कर्तारम आत्मानं केवलं तु यः
पश्यत्यकृत बुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति धूर्मतिः
यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावो बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते
हत्वापि सैमल्लोकं न हन्ति न निबध्यते
ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना
कारणं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधा कर्म संग्रहः
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिदैव गुणभेदतः
उच्यते गुण संख्याने यथा वक्षुनुतान्यपि
सर्वभूतेषु एनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते
अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु यज्ञानं विधि सात्विकम्
पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विदान्
इति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विधि राजसम्
यत्तु कृत्स्नवदेकस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तम् अहैतुकम्
अतत्त्वैतावदल्पं च तत्तमासम् उदाहृतम्
नियतं सङ्गरहितम् अरागाद्वेष्टकर्कृतम्
अपलाप्रेप्सुना कर्म यत्तत् सात्विकमुच्यते
यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः
क्रियते बहुराजसं तद्राजसम् उदाहृतम्
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्ष च पौरुषम्
मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते
मुक्तसङ्गो नहं वादी धृत्युत्साहसमान्वितः
सिद्धिसिद्धो निवर्तारा कर्तसात्विक उच्यते
रागी कर्मफलाप्रेप्सुर्लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः
हर्षशोकान्वितकर्ता राजसा परिकीर्तितः
अयुक्तः प्रकृतास्तब्धा शतो नैष्कृतो लशः
विशारीरिकसूत्री च क्षरसमुच्यते
बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु
प्रोच्यमानम् अशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय
वृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्यकार्ये भयाभये
बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेति बुद्धि सा पार्थ सात्विकी
या धर्ममधर्मं च कार्यं च कार्यमेव च
अयतावत् प्रज्ञानाति बुद्धि सा पार्थ राजसी
धर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता
सर्वार्थं विपरीतांश्च बुद्धि सा पार्थ तामसी
धृत्यायया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रिया क्रियः
योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या वृत्ति सा पार्थ सात्विकी
या तु धर्मकामार्तान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन
प्रसंगेन फलाक्षंक्षी धृति सा पार्थ राजसी
या स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषग्धं मदमेव च
न विमुञ्चन्ति धूर्मेधा धृति सा पार्थ तामसी
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ
अभ्यासाद्रन्दते यत्र दुःखानन्तं च न गच्छति
तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम्
तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मभक्तिप्रसादजम्
विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगाद् यतदग्रे मृतोपमम्
परिणामे विषं नीवा तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः
निद्रालस्य प्रमादोक्तं तत्तमासं निराहृतम्
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः
सत्त्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं
ब्राह्मणक्षत्रियविषां शूद्राणां च परन्तप
कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभावे परैर्गुणैः
शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च
ज्ञानविज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्
शौर्यं तेजो धृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चाप्यपलायनम्
दानमीश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम्
ऋषिगोरक्षवाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजम्
परित्यागात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम्
स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः
स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु
तथा प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वम् इदं ततम्
च सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुस्थितात्
स्वभावनियतं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्
सहजं कर्म कौन्तेय सदोषम् अपि न त्यजेत्
सर्वारम्भ हि दोषेण धूमेनाग्नेयवावृता
सत्तबुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगतः स्पृहः
नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति
सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निबोध मे
सामसेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठज्ञानस्य च परा
बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च
शब्ददीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषविदस्य च
विविक्तसेवी लग्वासी यत्वाक्काय मानसः
ज्ञानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः
अहङ्कारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहम्
विमुच्य निर्ममः शान्तो ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते
ब्रह्मभूता प्रसन्नात्मा न शोषति न काङ्क्षति
सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते परम्
भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावान् यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः
ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तत् अनन्तरम्
सर्वकर्माण्यपि सदा कुर्वणो मद्व्यपाश्रयः
मत्प्रसादादवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम्
चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः
भक्तियोगमपाश्रित्य मच्चित्ता सततं भव
मच्चित्त सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि
अत चैतम् अहङ्कारं नश्वस्यसि विकाङ्क्षसि
अहङ्कारमाश्रित्य न योत्स्य इति मन्यसे
नित्यैस्य व्यवसास्ते प्रकृतिस्वं वियोक्ष्यति
स्वभावजेन कौन्तेय निबन्धस्वेन कर्मणा
कर्तुं नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य वसोऽपि तत्
ईश्वरा सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति
भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्ररूढानि मायया
तमेव शरणं गच्छ सर्वभावेन भारत
तत्प्रसादात् परां शान्तिं स्थानं प्राप्स्यसि शाश्वतम्
इति ते ज्ञानमाख्यातं गुह्यात् गुह्यतरं मया
विमृश्यत्तदशेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु
सर्वगुह्यतमं भूयः शृणु मे परमं वचः
इष्टोऽसि मे दृढम् इति ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु
मामे वैश्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज
अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः
इदं ते नाटपस्काय न भक्ताय कदाचन
शुश्रूषेव वाक्यं न च मां बोधयिष्यति
या इदं परमं गुह्यं मद्भक्तेष्वभिधास्यति
भक्तिमयी परं कृत्वा मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः
न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन्मे प्रियकृत्तमः
भविता न च मे तस्माद् अन्यप्रियोतरो भुवि
द्वेषते च या इमं धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः
ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टास्यामिति मे मतिः
श्रद्धवान् अनसूयश्च शृणुयात् अपि लो नरः
सोऽपि मुक्तः सुभालोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुनरागमनं
कश्चिदेतत् श्रुतं पार्थ त्वयैकाग्रेण चेतसा
क्वचित् अज्ञानसम्मोहात् प्रणश्यस्ते तदाञ्जया
अर्जुन उवाच नष्टो मोहः स्मृतिर्लब्धा त्वत्प्रसादान्मयाच्युता
स्थितोऽस्मि गतसन्देहः करिष्ये वचनं तव
सञ्जय उवाच इत्यहं वासुदेवस्य पार्थस्य च महात्मनः
संवादम् इममाशुषम् अद्भुतं रोमहर्षणम्
व्यासप्रसादात् श्रुतवान् एतत् गुह्यम् अहं परम्
योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् प्रत्यक्षं
राजन् संस्मृत्य संवादम् इममद्भुतम्
केशवार्जुनयोर्ज्ञम् शिशामि च मुहुर्मुहुः
तच्च संस्मृत्य रूपम् अत्यद्भुतं हरेः यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूते ध्रुवानीते मते मम यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूते ध्रुवानीते मते मम यत्र योगेश्वर कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूते ध्रुवानीते मते मम ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की श्रील प्रभुपाद की
साम्यत भक्त वृंद की हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We are going to continue the Bhagavad Gita recitation tomorrow also, starting at 5 o'clock. So tomorrow also let's participate. And so please stand in a line to get the blessings. Everybody will get it. And then those who are not sponsored Bhagavad Gita sets, please sponsor. For family, you can sponsor 3 or 4 depending on how many family members you have.